Let's go.
I want it all. Run it. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it. Run it. Yeah. I want it all. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it. Yeah. Hey. I want it all. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Ooh. Run it. Yeah. Run it. I want it all. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it. Hey. I want it all.
Low key. With the bag and the gold, put it all on me. Shawty want my time, but the time frame only from 9 to 3. Oh, yeah, I said that right. I'm the king, I'm the god that'll go OT, so I don't tell no lies. I deserve everything, all they took from me, but the flow intoxicated. Most of y'all cartoons animated. I need all of my split like a segregation. Irrigation from the way created, I'm a living saying. Relocated, flights and chases while I'm at it stating. No, I catch a check, so you should see the statement. I'm the bank, but I'ma need the payment, so I want it.
I want it all. Run it. Run it. Yeah. Run it, run it, run it, yeah. I want it all. Run it, yeah. Run it, run it, yeah. Run it, run it, yeah. Hey. I want it all. Run it, yeah. Run it, ooh. Run it, yeah. Run it, ooh. I want it all. Run it, yeah. Run it, yeah. Run it, run it, hey. I want it all.
Send me the play. I want the smoke, hit the track like a train. I just want all of it, not just a part of it. I got no time for beginners and starter kids. I don't do drama, I got no time for arguments. Either you taking away a deposit, and either you leading by reading or following. Get back in line when I'm ready, I'll call you. And at some point, yeah, all this work gon' pay off. I gotta get to this money, and that's for the family. I get on days off. Some of y'all just think I'm a new fella. She'll get up on this new level. They'll never give me two solid. I'm a cool, she like the cool sweater.
Yeah. I want it all. Run it, run it, yeah. Run it, run it, run it, yeah. I want it all. Run it, yeah. Run it, run it, run it, run it, yeah. Hey. I want it all. Run it, yeah. Run it, ooh. Run it, yeah. Run it, ooh. I want it all. Run it, yeah. Run it, yeah. Run it, run it, ayy. I want it all. Run it.
Filthy dirty. Filthy dirty. Let's get nasty. Let's get nasty.
distraction, zero doubt, zero opposition.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Dominate the game like we supposed to. Dodging all lanes like we supposed to. I just run the play like we supposed to. Gotta run it all like we supposed to.
Hey, hold up, hey, it's light work. Just looking at the wrist of the ice work. All this shit on me and it bust down. Shock him out the clutch and it bust down. She don't love me, she just want me for the team, I know. At the draw, on the pick, I'm that one lotto. Got that rocket and that power auto. You want air, break the draw, gotta stay on auto. Matic, all the wins at it. Need a new patty. It's a time cost. Then the bag ain't free like it's MK. I got that new kick gang, got that sensei since day. Don't believe us, we just gotta show 'em. Got a whole game prepped up, got 'em like it's loaded. Ooh, they got it backwards like it's Yoda. On track, got speed, it's a locomotive. Hey.
Dominate the game like we supposed to. Dodging all lanes like we supposed to. I just run the play like we supposed to. Gotta win it all like we supposed to. Dominate the game like we supposed to. Dodging all lanes like we supposed to. I just run the play like we supposed to. Gotta win it all like we supposed to.
Dominate the game like we supposed to. I'm just staying in my lane and I'm supposed to. Be 100 ain't a thing, I ain't checking for no lames. Only gang with the dudes that I'm close to. I don't ride a wave, I just float through. Drawing up the plays like a coach do. Come against the team, better pray like the Pope do. Cause we'll turn your little beef into tofu. We tryna rise to the top. Real recognize you ain't squad, you the op. Drip on wall paint, feeling like the greats. Appetite jumping and you looking like a plate. Team on 3, no fail when we break. Lombardi is the only L's that we take. Type of pylon, then we all celebrate. Then it's back to the huddle, time to cook another play.
Dominate the game like we supposed to. Dodging all lanes like we supposed to. I should run the play like we supposed to. Gotta win it all like we supposed to. Dominate the game like we supposed to. Dodging all lanes like we supposed to. I just run the play like we supposed to. Gotta win it all like we supposed to. Dominate the game like we supposed to. Dodging all lanes like we supposed to. I just run the play like we supposed to. Gotta win it all like we supposed to.
Wake up and ready to get scored. I'm gonna get hit hard, it's just sacrificing. Take on a challenge and take stance. I'm using the same hands that I roll the dice with. Day starts, I'm ready to break hearts. I'm ready to go hard, a full heart to fight with. No games, I'm ready to take names with the left and the right. They flip mode to crisis. No games, I'm ready to take names with the left and the right. They flip mode to crisis. You can feel it in the atmosphere. Yeah, cause the champ is here. No games, I'm ready to take names with the left and the right. They flip mode to crisis. You can feel it in the atmosphere. Yeah, cause the champ is here. Wake up and ready to get scored. I'm gonna get hit hard, it's just sacrificing. No games, I'm ready to take names with the left and the right. They flip mode to crisis. No games, I'm ready to take names with the left and the right. They flip mode to crisis. You can feel it in the atmosphere. Yeah, cause the champ is here. No games, I'm ready to take names with the left and the right. They flip mode to crisis. You can feel it in the atmosphere. Yeah, cause the champ is here. No games, I'm ready to take names with the left and the right. They flip mode to crisis. You can feel it in the atmosphere. Yeah, cause the champ is here. No games, I'm ready to take names with the left and the right. They flip mode to crisis. You can feel it in the atmosphere. Yeah, cause the champ is here. Yeah, cause the champ is here.
Welcome to VCT Pacific Breakdown with me, Lothar. I'm an analyst for VCT EMEA, but today I'm gonna start working on content for VCT Pacific. We're gonna break down some rounds, we're gonna break down some executes, maybe some retakes, all the stuff happening in the games. And for the first episode, I'm bringing you RRQ versus Zeta Division and the 21st round, which has a fantastic execute on Haven. Before we're gonna jump into the actual execute, I would like to break down a little bit also the decision making from the defenders. As you can see, they are doing a gamble stack on A. The thing is, I assume, that Zeta Division wants to avoid the Killjoy lockdown being put on short. This is why they're gonna fight for A position and are gonna put an aggressive smoke on A lobby and use a lot of utility to just make sure that RRQ doesn't get this space, which is a nice read. But the thing is, I think RRQ just fully reads that behavior from Zeta and go a full 5 stack into C, which is a fantastic decision, and essentially they get out 5v1 on the C side early, and because of that the execute is also bolstered to be essentially flawless. So let's see how that round actually looked like. While watching this execute, please also pay attention to how fast the defenders are rotating and flanking. Omen even uses the ultimate to make sure that he can help the killjoy, but it's already too late. The abundance of utility being used by the attackers here to make sure that they have the space is crazy. And it seems like an overkill, but there's nothing like an overkill when it comes to getting to actual post plant first. So now let's take a look how this actually is done. After the jet smoke, we're gonna see the first piece of utility that opens up the site. That's gonna be the flash on the left side of the wall from Breach. Now the thing is, Breach wants to do it on the left side of the wall because that allows to have a better angle towards the backside, so the jet can have a better understanding of where the opponents might be affected from. If we flash on the other side of the wall over here, then the player that is standing backside is not going to be affected at all, and that's the most common position when it comes to the defenders. So now after that flash, we're gonna see Jet and just dashes into a smoke on platform. This is the key piece of utility as well, because dash is used to create space and also check corners. So when the Jet dashes in, she's gonna check all of this area while dashing visually, so people will appear on the minimap if someone else is here. Now when she's dashing over the platform, she's waiting on other key pieces of utility that help her get there. So one of the, of course, most basics and important is the smoke for double doors. Of course, you want to do that because otherwise your teammates that are gonna follow the Jet gonna have a hard time going into site if they're gonna be stowed by players from double doors. So it's very simple, but also remember that the smoke needs to be perfectly positioned, because if the smoke is crossing this line right here, then the opponents from double doors might feel a little bit too courageous and just gonna push it. So if you're gonna put a smoke over here, it cannot be like this. This gives too much space for the defenders coming in through double doors, right? So you want to do those kind of smokes when you're attacking. So this smoke that we have seen from Jet should have been actually a little bit more like this to create more space, but that doesn't run it that much because it's only a 4 seconds long smoke. But now that was the key piece, first key piece when it comes to smoking and vision denial. The second one will be for CT. It's important that it is on the left side like this of CT and not on the actual CT angle, because the Jet is trying to get space first here in this area. This is the second step of a successful execute, because you're taking the space bit by bit. The first area was this, the second area is backside C, and the third area is in post plant, this position over here, so it's not really important. That's why right now the smoke is gonna be positioned a little bit more to the left, which helps the Jet to gather this space. Now after the second smoke, there's still a lot of piece of utility here, right? So we're gonna have, this is all happening now in one time. So we're gonna have a nanoswarm that clears logs, very important. We're gonna have a stun from Breach. That's not it. Here we have a stun from Breach that is made to make sure that even if someone is close to double doors behind the box, he's gonna be stunned and then pushed by Jet, who can just target him when he's stunned while she's side dashing and checking that corner. If the players that is playing backside are not affected by the stun, they're gonna go into a pull from Astra. The gravitational pull is in a spot where essentially the player backside is always in a bad position. Either he's fully stunned by Breach or he's being pulled by the gravitational pull. Sometimes you're gonna see combos where the gravitational pull is literally like on the same area as the Breach stun, because if someone is affected by the Breach stun, he's always pulled in the middle of it. But in this case, it's more important to affect the biggest radius on the map right now, and that's why this is being focused so much on this small area on the C backside. When that is happening, Sova already used his arrow that is currently flying and waiting to land on the backside C, but before that even happens as well, Sova already gonna go into his ultimate, targeting possibly the players on C backside. Now all of that is happening in a blink of an eye, and the worst thing for Killjoy is her first target is not the Jet that dashed onto site from long. And no, the first target for her is gonna be the arrow on backside. And that arrow on backside is like a bait for the players on the C side, because you cannot stand anywhere on the side, on platform, on backside, or on logs without being affected by the vision. So you literally have to destroy it when it lands, and that's when Jet will strike. Now, having all of that in your mind, let's pay attention to what is actually happening during this post plant, because everything just works perfectly for RRQ. Everyone stands still. Jet and Breach are just holding the CT with the high and low positioning. They just have perfect crossfire for each other, which is so hard for the defenders to go through. And then everyone else is just holding their sites, and that's it. Well done, RRQ. Hope you all enjoyed this VCT Pacific breakdown with me, and see you guys next time.
Coming to you live from Seoul, South Korea. We are on week 5 of VALORANT Champions Tour Pacific. Let's see what happens. We are going to go live and let fate take it away with RRQ versus T1.
Right side, just trying to block him outside. A player going to open up with that first one over right now. They come in, close in, get the kill, and this is going to put the first win on the board for T1. They're pushing in on the site, but Zeta's here in the back. They did not clear this out. He picks up one, but does get cleared out. Lockdown now destroyed, and RRQ will be able to clear this out. Looks like they probably are. They've closed off one side. He's going to have to get a kill on Zeta. He goes for the flash, comes out, and that's going to be that. T1 gets the 6th win. Massive. Flipsider also here. They finally take it out. Headshot the doorways to try to secure this one, but pushing out. Here comes RRQ. They clean up all 3 of them at the same time. The perfect play where they don't round from here on out. Slow push through door. T1 takes it over RRQ 2-0.
Welcome back to VCT Pacific, and we just finished our first matchup, which was pretty quick. And it's going to be depending on this next matchup with DFM versus Team Secret.
Hop on down and immediately get taken out. Indeed picks up one, but Detonation are holding on to this. Retake does come in, and they will be able to get the defuse. I told that was going to have a much better chance. All right, that was confusing. Not sure how he did not. Oh, that's a thrifty from Team Secret. Oh, beautiful flash there. Some great defense so far. Flip's going to continue on, and he whips that, just firing above the head. Jess takes out Jesse Bash. Smoke, the crossfire is nice. Oh, Team Secret with a shutdown so far. Okay, and there's the ace. Team Secret with a total shutdown. Please, just shoot him. I can't do this. I can't do this. Oh my God, the knife's all mid. It's all going to be up to Anthem, but he is killed as well. 2-0. Team Secret is victorious.
sa inyong lahat, and welcome to VALORANT Champions Tour Pacific League 2023 Filipino broadcast. I'm your host, Rubixco, your panel host for today, and together with me, back on the panel, is Juicy Brucey and Rav.
Dito ako kahapon.
Yeah,
na-miss na kita eh. No, nandito ako kahapon.
Really?
Ako yung inupuan ni Raf. Nandito. Ay, oo nga. Nakatago lang ako dyan. Wink. Pero parang medyo overdressed si Bruce ngayon. Sobrang formal niya. Pang CEO talaga.
Kailangan talaga kasi celebration yan. Kasi 2-0 secret ka.
Totoo, actually.
Celebration.
Totoo.
Exactly. And going into what we saw yesterday, we had two 2-0 matches between Team Secret and DFM, and 2-0 with T1 and RRQ in favor of T1. And I think let's talk about yung first series natin yesterday, which was RRQ versus T1. I think we were very hopeful for RRQ going into this kasi medyo even itong matchup na to. And like you said, Raf, you were talking about win conditions, and I think based on our VCT breakdown video that we just saw, RRQ definitely did try to make those adjustments. You know, they were trying to not let T1 take up that space. Pero parang ang ganda ng counter read ng T1 dito.
Exactly. I mean, going into game number 2 lang from that series, I was really hoping nung pinanood ko siya kahapon na Fracture is like more of RRQ map during this tournament. So parang kind of surprising na hindi sila nakabawi doon. But you know, if Rap says medyo even, who am I to counter that?
Grabe naman. Grabe naman.
Miss kita eh.
Na-miss kita. Ikaw.
Well, anyway.
Lakas talaga ng tiwala mo sa akin.
Well, I hope we have a lot lakas ng tuwala natin today for our teams because we have two teams who have yet to prove themselves and secure their spot again. Yep. We're talking about Talon Esports here, who still is on number 9 in our standings, still trying to secure that first win. Pero interestingly, let's take a look at the middle of our bracket. We have Team Secret, PaperX, and T1 who are still hovering in the middle. So these teams, even Zeta Division, are not really safe in their spot for the playoffs kasi, you know, we still have 3 more weeks going into league play, so they still need to secure those wins. And Zeta Division, although they are top 3, they're still not safe yet.
Exactly. Ngayon na kalaban nila talaga yung Talon Esports, which is, you know, hindi pa sila nanalo so far in this tournament, and you know, mas gusto nilang bumawi supposedly in this match. And although kung titingnan lang natin just performance alone in this tournament, Zeta Division maganda na yung run nila, pero kahit naman, you know, I just don't really want to discredit yung ginawa ng Talon Esports sa lock-in, you know, a few months back, na parang they really need to get that vigor back into this tournament.
I mean, yun nga, if we looked at the standings kanina, parang everything is where we projected to be. Siguro yung kulang lang talaga yung Talon within the top 5. I mean, like we said, right, DRX was pretty much destined to dominate the region with the way they've been super impressive with how clean they are and how refined their playstyle has been. But yun nga, akala ko yung Talon at least top 4, top 5. I think everyone, maybe except Zeta Division, is where I would have had initially put them. But with everybody, as we mentioned, evolving and getting better throughout the entire series and the entire circuit, it's really still a joy to watch.
Exactly, and you know, that's exactly the point of VCT Pacific, because this is also where our teams are just kind of growing into these new rosters that they have here. And speaking of people who are growing into teams really well, we have Munchkin here, who was just a great all-around player yesterday. He held down sites, pero yung lurks niya, grabe, ang sobrang impactful, and having a sentinel that you can really rely on to hold down a site and even lurk with those 1v1s is just a phenomenal thing to have on your team.
Yeah, and then this guy, I mean, kung titingnan natin yung performance niya all throughout, I mean, I think in game number 1, he was tap fragging for the entire team, and goes to show yung scores dito.
Grabe yung kahapon eh, kasi sobrang forward na ni Munchkin sa mga, lalo na sa Fracture. He was super forward, pero hindi pa napapunish ng RRQ, which was really surprising to me. We had the interview, Eman did explain that they were still trying a new composition on Fracture, which is honestly one of the biggest reasons why the results ended up the way it is. Pero yun nga, if you really put on the focus on T1, napag-usapan din natin kahapon na yung playstyle nila medyo bully. And when you give them the space to get that momentum to really go downhill, they really did. I feel like I had such high expectations for RRQ because that is still a really stacked team under the leadership of Flips and just the fragging power of both the duelist and the supporting backline. I thought that the objective to stop T1 was very clear in their eyes, pero yun nga, may growing pains pa.
Exactly, and you know, T1 isn't one of our, you know, regular Korean teams now. Medyo structured yung play nila. We have them. They kind of adapt that NA play style.
Yeah.
And you know, going into this, I think, you know, lahat tayo sa panel yesterday, we're kind of rooting for RRQ sa predictions natin. We were 3-0 for RRQ, pero I think T1 just really knew the weaknesses of their opponents. I don't think maybe T1 came into this match a little bit more prepared than RRQ.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if ikaw pa nga naman, you're going up against a team na they're trying to go for their comeback arc, you know, talking about RRQ yesterday, iba pa rin eh. As T1, they don't want to fall short sa, you know, their counterpart, which is DRX. And yung sinabi na nga natin na T1, they're basically, yung play style nila, it comes from a different region. So baka yun yung rason RRQ was unable to do it. And then, as you guys have said, you know, RRQ during the interview, meron silang tinatry na bagong composition. And so far, hindi naman siya nag-work, pero it's not at the end kasi week 5 pa naman tayo, and there's more weeks before the playoffs.
Exactly, and moving on to our second match yesterday, we had Team Secret versus DFM. So Detonation focused me again. They haven't had a single win so far in the league, but looking here at Dubstep, he really stepped up yesterday. Grabe ang hold niya dito sa mga sites niya. Every map when it came to it, and again, his clutches. We have Borkum, we had Invi, and we had a lot of Dubstep time, and you can just really say Dubstep was just overall a great player yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, just to recap, DFM, ba't di nyo binan yung Haven against Team Secret? I think that's the better, you know, that's like an overall explanation. Baka siguro mag-game 3 ba, pero Secret yun. And, you know, speaking about their duelist, I mean, Dubstep, 41 kills all in that entire series. So parang, you know, he held strong for Team Secret, and 2-0 nga yung result natin.
Ayoko nga sabihin na that was vintage Dubstep kasi Dubstep has been super consistent throughout his playing time between their champion stint and up to this point. But again, the impact was really, really felt yesterday. Hopefully, he will have outings like that a little more often. Again, just to be a little more critical overall for Team Secret kasi tough love, di ba? Envy was... Huh?
Wala, go.
So, yun nga, kahit malakas naman yung Team Secret, meron pa ding things that they have to iron out. Again, just to link back to what RRQ said in their interview, baka na-mental block lang sila, baka naka-over-prepare sa mga other teams and stuff. So with them trying to focus on how they want to execute their game instead of trying to adjust to whatever pace is in front of them has really done them wonders. Again, si Dubstep, yung both shades niya, as the duelist, as the entry, grabe yung volume niya, pero tingin ko yung impact niya sa second game, I really feel like that was way more felt.
Exactly.
Just to add, I mean, like, it's the good
Bawal
thing about... Bawal daw pala. Pero with DRX, ganun sila eh. Like, parang they have this set playstyle all in all, pero like, sometimes medyo nagiging close nga yung game, they still stick to and adjust on the fly. Hindi naman super hard adjust, pero like, when you iron out things, that's like why DRX is just, if we are looking back at people who could adjust the pace for their very own fundamentals, yun talaga yung na-execute nila, and yun lang parang kulang in the teams, kind of below in the leaderboard.
Exactly. And moving on to our match schedule for today, we just went through a really wild weekend. So right now, for Monday, we have Talon Esports versus Zeta Division, but we also had a really jam-packed week. Saturday featured some really, really good highlight matches, and on Sunday we had, again, T1 and Team Secret taking the wins. So today, let's moving on to our next series for today. It's Talon Esports versus Zeta Division. So again, these Talon still needs to get that win in the bag, and Zeta Division again needs to maintain that spot if they want to make it to playoffs.
Kailangan talaga kasi sabi mo nga kanina, Reby, namimiligro pa yung Zeta Division if we're just looking at leaderboards kasi hindi pa sobrang solid eh kasi everybody below kaya pa nilang humapol. So if they get this win against Talon, could be like a 4-1 kind of thing. And I see Raph here off camera shriveling.
Okay ka lang, Raph?
Down here.
Okay
pero
ka lang ba?
Talking about the entirety of it all, Talon Esports, kanina nga sinabi ko na parang they want to get that win at the very least.
Kasi strong makes me pain, di ba?
Yeah.
Pero
nasa Spain sila without this.
I know. Again, just the expectations for Talon going into Pacific League. I know we are in week 5 na. Pero siguro yung foundation nila, hindi pa nila nahanap. Di ko alam kung roster issue ba to. Are they still really sorely missing Scary? I guess he was a really fundamental piece of that old X10 Xerxia roster. But again, it's been so long, guys. And I feel like I have to expound on this a little bit, and I'll keep it brief. Sometimes a month feels like forever in a league, but at the same time, it's such a short period, especially with this type of competition, Reby.
Exactly, and league play, although it does take quite a few months, it does still seem one match every week doesn't really give you that time to readjust every week. Like you can make those small micro adjustments, but it still again is a really grueling growth process. And things that don't have to be grueling is the way to get your food, because we have Grab Unlimited, our official sponsor for VCT Pacific. If you haven't heard of Grab Unlimited, it's a subscription from Grab that gives you free delivery from every store every single day. All you have to do is scan this QR code over here and enjoy 1 month of free Grab Unlimited. That's right, 1 month absolutely free. And huwag kayong mag-alala because we will also be having more future Grab VALORANT collaborations in the future.
Wow! And you guys, kung gusto nyo manood, if wala kayo dito, pwede rin kayo manood. Remember to share the stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch to support VCT Pacific and your favorite teams. It's Valorant_PH on Twitch and Valorant Esports PH on Facebook and YouTube for your friends.
Of course, very, very big and special thanks to our sponsors, Logitech, Red Bull, Polo by Ralph Lauren, of course, Grab Unlimited, HP Victus, and Zowie for making VCT Pacific League possible. So if I didn't make that clear, big thanks to everybody, especially you guys for sticking around for the broadcast. Thank you.
Exactly. Maraming salamat po for always supporting the streams, and of course to our sponsors. Now moving on to our match for today, we have Talon Esports versus Zeta Division. So medyo this is a match that could keep people in their places kung saan sila sa standings nila ngayon, or could severely shift our standings here. So talking about this now, let's talk about Talon and how they're looking comparing to their performance or our expectations for them from from lock-in and moving into VCT Pacific, how do you think they're going to be performing in this match today?
I hate to say this, pero in the past few weeks na sinaman nila si Patifan, parang hindi nag-workout masyado. We kinda need more of the boys action. Talking about Sushi Boys and Jit Boys, give them more action para sa Talon Esports. I think that's the recipe. I mean, I hate to say this. Patifan, sobrang sikat niya na player. He's like one of the key people there in Talon, pero like going back at lock-in, he was absent. And ano yun umabot sila ng quarterfinals with that same strategy, with that same lineup na ginamit nila. So maybe that's the key here on week number 5.
Tingin ko problema din yan kasi isipan natin, Patty was one of the OG members of that old X-Censorship crew that I really enjoy going back to, right? But now we had so much success when Garnet was on that roster. They made it so far, as Bruce mentioned, and it felt like the system was in place for all these players to pop off without sacrificing any of their own, I guess, star power. Pero yung napansin din natin sa Talon, yung ceiling nila sobrang taas, pero yung floor, it's really dropped off by a mile. And I hate saying that because I love this team. I absolutely love this team.
Exactly. And, to address the elephant in the room, again,
Where?
Patty... Where's the elephant?
Ayun
May elephant ba?
Nasa tubig.
Pre, isda yan.
Ay, isda pala yan.
But yeah, Bruce, you said it again. I think it's it's a bit touchy to put this onto one player, but I feel like maybe Patifan has not been maybe reincorporated back into Talon the way that we want him to. Because I agree with you there. We want some more action from our boys, and Garnet as well was really just a good addition to Talon here. But again, we're seeing Patty in the first game here, so I think maybe they're still trying to work on recalibrating him into the team. It doesn't seem not all hope is lost. We're still halfway into the league, and it kind of just shows that Talon has that belief in him to still be putting him in our opening game.
Yeah, it's more like ironing out the machine for them. Pero at this late into the tournament, I don't see ba't ginagawa pa nila na ngayon. I mean, if you are like one of these members, you want to qualify for like first, second, third because you're going into the upper echelon, which is champions and tawag sa isa, masters. Yeah, there we go. So medyo excited na, diba? So parang they really need to get that win para makasali because why would you want to miss out on like the bigger tournaments coming in?
And exactly to what I was going to add to that is that this is a team that's been so consistent, considered one of the GOATs of APAC. To miss out an event is such a travesty, in my opinion, on their legacy, Revy.
Exactly, and speaking of legacies as well, we have Zeta again. We want to see them have that, not necessarily a miracle run, but we want to see consistency from them because again, if you can make it all really high up in a tournament, one-hit wonders don't really stick around. But Zeta, I think, have finally found that here in VPL. I think we had maybe lower expectations for them here, but they're really proving themselves. They've really stepped up. All of these players have just really, come online. You can really feel the impact from each of them here. And, they've faced Talon Esports in the past, so they did lose before. But this was back in 2022 in Gwangju, so this is an interesting rematch. It's an interesting rematch. But again, these two teams have completely changed their identity since we've last seen them go against each other.
Yeah, just speaking of identity, gusto ko lang i-focus yung pag-usapan natin with Depp, who's like their operator. I mean, last week, he was like garnering 42 kills all in all for Zeta Division, led them to victory. Pero the issue with Depp na palayo na nakikita is like the way he reads the opponent sometimes. Kasi I've seen them play over at Haven na parang he sticks around in A site so much. Tapos parang people just avoid depth. Parang iniiwasan lang nila.
Parang sentinel na player.
Iniiwasan lang nila. And then, that kind of ruins Zeta Divisions, yung parang synchronization going into the game. So parang sometimes it takes him masyadong late lang si Dep to reassemble with his team. So parang, I wanna see kung ano ba yung mangyayari with Zeta Division. Kung ganun man yung mangyayari kay Dep. Again, kasi so far in this tournament, he's top fragging for Zeta Division as is his job. So, I mean, yung trabaho niya dapat as a duelist. Pero I wanted to see more of the proper reads, the proper way he wants to reassemble with the team, and just do the retakes together with his team to make this a cleaner sweep. Well, spoiler alert, yung binabalta pa.
I completely agree with what you're saying, though. Okay, then I don't agree with what you're saying.
Thank you.
Okay, so
contrast.
No, because my original point really here is that siguro si Laz at si Dep, medyo yung stats nila, if I'm not mistaken, just off the top of my head, I think it's only normal for Laz to have a bit of a dip considering he was really that chamber player from Champions onwards. So now we're going to a more utility heavy shuffle meta. But that is not a product of him underperforming. I think tama yung sinabi ni Bruce din na si Dep and especially Ten nagsa-step up. So everybody's stats have gone up. Di naman talaga sobrang important yung ACS on one individual when the whole team is functioning super well. Now that I think about it, Zeta is doing what Talon was so known for before. So, anyari Talon?
Na-switch nga.
Okay.
Pero looking at our head-to-head right here, we have Crow and Cruz. So, I think the only difference between these two players is one letter, no?
I think sinadya ba to? Direct? Sinadya ba to? Direct? Parang pati-triplan to.
But, I want to highlight Crow here because, again, we have really big names on Zeta. We got Deb, we have Laz, but Crow did exceptional last week. He was one of our week 4 MVPs, and I really think he deserved it, especially considering that the whole lineup of Zeta is just really stacked, and for him to just kind of exceed our expectations was just, it's a really good sign that all of Zeta has just stepped up.
Crow and Cruz, by difference, I mean, if we are looking at Crow, he takes kills for the team. Kasi, I mean, Crow is like the, siya naman yung initiator for Zeta D. So, he gets the proper kills for the team. But for Crows, siya yung, he just really wants to control the whole map for the rest of Talon Esports and hoping for Patifan or like someone like Garnet, sabihin natin, either the boys to, continue with the fraggings. Pero, it's more like, what is more to come?
Yun nga, ang ganda ng support system ng Zeta. Si Ten, who's been, again, in all honesty, was underperforming in the last few international events. Statistically, siya yung weakest link sa Zeta. But through Pacific League, he's really stepped up to the plate. And aside from the statistics that he's garnered for himself, his intangibles have just gone so much better. You never really see his body language change when he's playing. He's not necessarily over-peaking anymore as a support. He's, as Bruce mentioned, alongside Crow, he's been setting up the rest of his teammates for success, and it's been going really, really well. Meanwhile, I believe Cruz is on the not Sentinel role.
Viper
Yeah, he's on the Smoker
duty.
controller role, which is so strange to me because I'm so used to seeing him on the hard ini. Kaya nga nagtanong ako kanina if nagsasuffer pa sila na nawalaan sila ng scary. Because again, that's just a big domino effect. Now suddenly Pate's back, so there's an overload of duelists that I feel like in the coming maybe weeks of the league should be fixed, but when is that gonna happen, right?
Exactly. And nandito na tayo sa week 5. We're already halfway through our league play, so both of these teams really have to step it up. And it's a good sign that both of these teams have also shown a lot of growth. So, going into what we think about these teams and these players, let's talk predictions. So, I'm gonna start off. I think I'm not sure if it's been obvious mga explanations ko lately, but I think I'm really I'm really looking forward to, because I love following a team's growth, especially when they come from the bottom to the top. And I think I'm gonna have to go for Zeta Division for this one.
Zeta Division, and that's my prediction. And aside from that one, gusto ko makita itong dalawang teams na itong maglaro sa Fracture. Who's the better picker? Because they banned this map as much. So Zeta D,
yun nga,
thumbs up for you.
Ang ganda ng growth ng Zeta, and they've really patched up every single hole in their, again, game that's super obvious. Their defense has improved so much, and I feel like they're really a scary team. So I'm gonna go with Talon still. I believe in Talon.
The belief again, Raph Levy, don't be on the floor later if ever hindi manalo ang Talon. Pero I really feel, based off of what we saw yesterday, kasi
na-imagine ko na, Bruce. Doon ako sa likod parang, guys.
Are they winning?
Pero if you win,
are they winning?
Kami yung papasok ni Reby dyan.
Sige.
Ano?
Actually,
Kasya ba tayo?
Kasya dun eh.
Kasya yan.
Ganito pa.
Alis na lang kami, ikaw na lang bahala.
Well, I mean, going off of what for Rap's prediction, I just wanted to go on it because yesterday we saw DFM Team Secret. They were really struggling. Team Secret just had a really hard two losses in a row. And then DFM again were very hungry for that win. And we really saw these two teams step up yesterday. And, they were just really hungry for that win. And I think, I want to still have that belief in Talon because they also might be hungry for that win. So, hoping for the best for both of these teams. But we're gonna have to throw it to a short break here. Pero wag kayo alis because we will be back with more VALORANT VCT action.
메이컨 브리지. 메이컨 안 쏜다. 너 이거.
뺐다.
야, 오빠. 온다. 여기.
CS
빠져. 무슨 다 빠져.
맞아.
우리 3명 걸렸어.
C2였어.
나이스.
브리치 백사 55댐. 백사 백 까줄게. 나봐 형아. 까줘. 에컨 가는 거 조심. 나이스. 에컨 시간.
업드랩 대시.
연마 없어. 기다려봐. 가라 조심해.
내보고 있어. 나 들어갈게 되나 이거? 기다려.
시 혼자야. 시로 깎아도 돼 얘들아. 블락 깠어.
가라지 않아?
A 오멘. 천천히 해.
A가
C쪽이었어. C쪽.
A가 A로 와 형.
A 내렸대. 나 설하고 언덕.
나 오케이 언덕. 나 여기 바깥 쓸게 형.
스파이크 설치.
우리가 브리핑 해줄게. 에임 중에 둘 다. 뒤로 돌아올 수도 있다. 쇼.
리코 갈게.
앞쪽. 살아. 그냥 너 빼. 따로 해. 오늘 어떤데? 오늘 버스.
나이스 수고하냐.
잘했어.
Discipline, I would say the discipline I have, that's probably why I got here, because I didn't start out like a superstar compared to anyone else in the scene. I could have just been no one, but then the discipline I have just made me better every day, I would say. My name is Cruz and I play for Talon Esports. I play controller for the team and I'm also IGL of the team.
I'm really impressed with Cruz, with how much he's improved over the last year. Not only is he individually much better, but his IGLing now is really, really good. Good adaptations, good mid-rounding. You know, he loves to lurk, which I love to see. With an IGL, he's really getting good reads on the map and able to set his team up for success.
Personally, I like being both the controller and the IGL because I'm in a position where I'm pretty safe compared to the rest, and I have time to be looking at the maps, where we are positioned and what parts of the map we have and they don't, what type of strategies should we be using for this particular round. So it's a really good combination, being both the IGL and having the controller role.
ทีมเป็นอินเกมที่ค่อนข้างฉลาดครับแล้วก็มีรูปแบบแผนในการสั่งที่ไม่ค่อยเหมือนใครเท่าไหร่ค่อนข้างรู้ว่าเพลเยอร์คนไหนต้องใช้แบบไหนมีวิธีการตัดสินใจสำหรับการใช้คนนั้นคนนี้ค่อนข้างชัดเจนครับที่ทีมเขาเป็นถือว่าเป็นผู้เล่นสโมงที่เพราะว่าแตกต่างจากคนอื่นเยอะเลยเพราะว่าด้วยความที่เขาประสบการณ์เยอะด้วยแล้วก็บวกกับเขาเหมือนเข้าใจตัวละครครับแล้วเข้าใจเกมทำให้เหมือนเขาสามารถคีเอทหรือแบบว่าอะไรเงี้ยมิกซ์ในการเล่นได้หลายแบบครับ
is setting up here to fight with Scary. They know that there's going to be an Ultraman coming in, so they want to force the fights early on.
And these shots, they can try and defend it down one after another. Cruz
with 5, but not the ace.
What's crazy is he picked up IGLing, and then he's playing smokes, but his mechanics have gotten so much better too. I can't fathom the amount of hours he put in to make this work. But some of the calls he was making, as unorthodox as they are, that's the surprise factor that Talon has to take down some of the tougher teams. I think Cruz can really be a great leader to prove that Talon belongs out on international stage.
ตอนนั้นเป็นแมปเฮเว่นครับที่เหมือนเรารีเทคบีก็แล้วพวกผมตายหมดเลยก็เหลือพี่ทีมกับพี่ฟอก2คนแล้วก็เหมือนเขายิงตัวตายเป็นโดหมดเลยแล้วแบบว่าพลิกเกมให้ทีมเรากลับมาแชมป์ที่4ครับ
To clear that angle, and still doubled up with the teammates' rifles. Will they make the difference? Cruz has got the most to do once more, spraying them down a swing. What is that?
Personally, I would say I want to be one of the best IGLs. But as a team, I would say I really want us to be one of the top contenders in the world. In every tournament we go into, we will do our best and try to be best team in VCT Pacific.
Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Pacific 2023 Filipino broadcast. We're back here on the panel. I'm Rubixco, your host for today, and together with me is Juicy, Brucey, and Raph. So, sana hindi kayo naghintay ng matagal, but we are going to be kicking off Day 3 of Week 5 with Talon Esports versus Zeta Division. So, going to this game, again, this is a game that definitely means a lot in terms of standings. Talon needs to bag their first win, and Zeta just needs to maintain that para they can qualify for the playoffs.
And oh, by the way, di ba news flash kanina, Garnet is not playing on game number 1. So that's one thing to look forward to kung paano ba yung laro nila, and super excited for their map picks. And going into these player people coming out of the stage, all eyes for me, all eyes, mata ko lang pala, para kay Dep and 10, showing kung ano ba yung gagawin nila for this series.
Okay. I mean, Reby brought it up earlier na malaking bagay talaga yung points. Pero para sa akin, sa Talon, this is a confidence game. You talked about that this was a run back, There's a slight alteration.
He dancing!
Okay.
Whoa!
I see it. Okay. Pero again, just to return to my original point, in that this is a confidence boost for them that they could potentially try and build off. Because, again, there is already history between these teams. And there was an honest power gap between Talon and Zeta dati. But again, this is the future, this is now. I do hope that they do, well, at least on the side of Talon, Pat looks ready, and he is actually hitting the gritty.
Wow.
You didn't say confidence boost though. Well, their confidence are already showing. They're all smiles.
Yeah, definitely looks like it.
Dep just goes out like, okay.
What is going on? But, this is a good sign, I think, for Talon here, coming in here very lighthearted, but also determined. It may be that confidence here. They seem extra prepared, and nakita natin yesterday from our 2 games with DFM and Team Secret that when you really prepare for that match, you can feel it, especially in the first few rounds. DFM did get those first few rounds off of Secret, so hoping here that Talon also gets that really strong start. They all seem really pumped up for today.
I mean, kailangan talaga. And, being pumped up, here's like a thing that I want to see. I mean, so far into this tournament, both teams ban Fracture as much. So, LC, so sana makita if malalaro pa to for both teams, just to see their performance going in for the first few weeks. I mean, more notes for us and more notes for the opponent teams.
True. A lot of data to be researched. Pero tingin ko, they might actually just play Fracture. Like I said, it's a confidence thing on the side of Talon. So they might just get all the maps that they feel that they're good at.
Yeah.
At the same time, just to contradict my own point slightly, I hope they get rid of that icebox because they had some really, really glaring issues. Sa interview din natin ni Aaron, di ba? Sabi niya na sobrang brute force yung approach ng Talon, which was, again, so out of character for the squad.
Yeah, that was last week, di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah, and going into what we were talking about yesterday, we were talking about win conditions. So, coming into our first map here, we have a Lotus ban from the side of Talon. I'm hoping, I kind of agree with you here na gusto ko makita yung Fracture just to kind of see these two teams really duke it out. We did get the Icebox ban, like you said, but I hope that we get... Oh, we're going to be going in with Haven here. So, again, another fundamentals map.
Yeah, I mean, at isa naman to sa mga laro ng Talon eh. So, okay.
Raph does not look happy.
My Fracture's gone.
No, I feel like siguro personal bias lang na umay na ako sa Haven Ascent. Palagi na lang. Literal
maps
beloved
natin
maps.
this weekend eh.
Okay, and Ascent, I'm glad we're getting split though. I wish they brought this out sooner.
Exactly.
I thought the split for Talon was still very, very strong. Again, they're fairly slow as a team, so it's really matching their profile. But again, Ascent is just a map where kahit sino pwede manalo. And it's been really hard to call. Kahit Secret kahapon, nahirapan pa sa DFM, diba?
Exactly.
This is not a knock against DFM too, but again, it is the Wild West out there on Ascent.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, ito yung sinabi mo dito na we're in the gun shows or gunplay talaga yung magiging bida. Yet, we're going to agent composition soon.
That's right. And going into Haven, what do we want to see here?
I mean, this is true for both Haven and Ascent. Aside from the gun show, it's really just a matter of kung sino ba yung mas magaling mag-adjust on the mid-round and having on-the-fly calls. I feel like this has been a problem for Talon, that they've been having 3vx issues, but we will see more of that later, right, Reby?
Info game too.
And I think, you know, it's counted to matter a lot, but we have two skies here, so things are going to be looking good on the info game side. But I think it's about high time we pass it off to our casters. Ooh. Ling and Ray, take it away.
What's up, guys? Good evening sa inyong lahat. And we are now here sa VP ang Valorant Pacific League. I am your caster, Ray2X. Joining here is our very own special Ling2X. And you make me feel special.
Oh, diba? Twice na naman.
Pero ngayon, tatanungin kita kasi it's going to be eto nga mga favorites natin.
Oh, syempre naman.
Sheesh
talaga.
So, sino yung ultimate bias mo ulit sa Zeta?
Kailangan with picture. Kailangan ilabas yung picture, guys. So, lalo na po yung kuya natin dito na si Lance, kuya. Good luck, kuya. Kuya!
Ano
Zone ka agad.
Senpai.
Okay, good luck, Senpai, Lance.
Mas kapag Oni-chan, medyo pangit pakinggan. So, so, yun na lang. Pero ako naman, ang aking, ako pa rin syempre, main bias ko po ay toxic from Talon. Go Talon! And anyway, ang hirap kasi fan ako ng parehas sa teams. But then, alam naman natin na si Zeta ang ganda nga ng streak nila so far sa pagdating sa ating storylines. But as for Talon, wala pa rin nga silang panalo until now.
Oh, mahirap yun eh. Napag-usapan natin ito, delikado talaga yung performance nila so far dito sa Pacific League. They're in a very dangerous situation right now dahil walang panalo. And of course naman, we have it's like enormous amount of expectations sa team na to. Lalo na't maglalaro ulit si Patifan sa Pacific League. And speaking of that, Zeta Division and Talon, labanan ng mga bias ng mga casters to. Not with the teams dahil wala ang team secret but it's just gonna be the players. Now, 5-5, that is gonna be the first round natin dito sa mapang on Haven.
Here it is, Haven mapa ng mga taga-VPL, ng mga Pacific teams. Pero ang bilis naman ng Zeta. Malanaro to ang Galawan, Kira, Mego, Asega. Naruto pala to. At ngayon si Sushi Boys na lang kagad na natitira naman pa si Sushi Boys kahit pangalan niya Sushi. He doesn't eat nor like ang mga sushi. Anyway, si Crow goes for a plant. Kaya mo ba? Versus 4, hirap yan.
Oh, pero 1v4, kayang-kaya itong labanan. May tropa pa naman siya dito na ang turret na magagamit niya. Now, this gonna be online, Sushi Boys. He's gonna be putting the utilities up to use. Makakuha nga siya ng impormasyon na posible pa nga makakapag-flank sa kanya si Laz, but it's gonna be too late. Crow is trying to finish the job, and that's gonna be the first round na makuha ngayon ng Zeta Division.
Ayan. Okay na nga. Kagad ang lahat for Zeta. Good start nga. Especially in this map. Pero tatandaan nyo, ang nag-pick nito ay ang Talon. If this is gonna be going hard for them, medyo mahirap-hirap to. Kaso ang ganda kagad doon naging mid-take nila. Ayan, sa ating replay. Alam mo, usually you don't see teams na nagkakaroon kagad ng mid-take pagdating sa Haven. Pero nowadays, based lang sa observation ko whenever VPL teams play here, puro sila mid-take sa pistol round.
And speaking of that, other takes that they can definitely go here para sa lang to is gonna be C, gandang labanan. Bulldog is gonna be play here para kay Sugar Zero. At isang mabilisan lang. Classic play lang malalabas dito muna ng Talon, but it's still gonna be effective. Napakagandang fault line. Jet Boys ka po kang magpupush. Spike is within his visual. Tingnan natin kung paano kukunin to ng Zeta nga at mag-flash na nga sila dito.
Oh. Grabe, ang bibilis naman nila maglaro. Ling, parang kakasimula pa lang, tutok na kagad silang. Bibilis. Kasi alam naman natin, when it comes to Zeta together with Talon, they are very fast-paced. Especially here in Haven, di ba? Kokonkas ka lang, magpa-flash ka lang, pupush na kagad yung kalaban mo. Especially on the defender.
Oh, okay na okay talaga yan sa mga ganitong pacing na ginagawa nila sa Haven dahil napakahirap talaga makapagkuha or bawi man lang ng map control. And to even think about the tutukan na labanan, you could definitely take into account on how these teams are definitely mechanically gifted as well. I'm excited to how they're gonna be channeling that with the utility side by side sa mga pushes na ginagawa nila dito. But konting kalmado muna tayo dito, guys. Mid-push naman makikita natin dito coming up from the side of Talon at Abangers muna itong Zeta Division sa mga nagpupush, sa mga nag-aasim at sa mga magkakamali.
Wag na kayong magkakamala. Pero dito nga sa Zeta, kita mo kagad, bumili na sila ng mga Phantom. Bumili na din kagad sila ng mga kanilang mga Phantom tsaka, anong tawag dito? Vandal kasi, nakakalimutan ko. Iba kasi nasa utak ko pangalan AKM. Pero anyway, kanina ang bilis. Pero mukhang sa Zeta, disiplina muna ang kailangan. Pero si Dep, kukuha na ng entry. Medyo maaga pagdating sa mga nano swarms. Pero okay lang yan, kasi maaabangan nga siya through the smokes. He goes with the dashing, pero wala pa namang natamaan so far. Pero sariling teammate mo si Crow. Bakit mo pa pinatay si Dep?
Grabe naman yun. Siguro ang gulo kasi may mga paint shots, may mga flashes. Hindi mo na alam kung sino yung mga kalaban doon at yun nga, nadali pa nga yung kakampi natin dito na si Dep. Kita mo naman dito, Talon! Mukhang mag-aasim pa nga muna. Dalawang pipitas mga ni Sugar, 0. Still effective muna tayo doon mga kuya. Lason Gaming, nagpapanggap bilang daga yung Omen. At mukhang nakakit-kit talaga sa armor but also putting the man advantage back into the side here para sa side ng Zeta.
Oh my, this looks promising. Si Patipan finally is on the duelist, is on that race. So baka ito na yung step up. Kasi dapat kung ako din personally, I want Patipan to be that duelist talaga. Iba talaga kapag siya yung kumukuha ng mga entries para na sobrang accurate. Pero ngayon, pipilitin ng Zeta to actually plant. Pero nga lang, always check the corners as Foxy gets 2. And now, it's gonna be a 1v1 game. Low on HP nga lang kagad si Crow. And finally, Jeet Boys gets this round for Talon Esports. Pero syempre, medyo magastos pagdating sa economy ng Talon on this bonus lang ng Zeta.
Oh, still though, parang iisipin mo talaga on how every gun, every investment talaga matters sa larong to. Great way for Talon to take away yung early advantage ko anong meron ngayon ng Zeta. But kung tutusin, they played it quite smartly. Hindi to basta-bastang labanan talaga na pinakita natin on how all of the rounds basically went in the favor dito para sa isang side lang. Talon just give it whatever they got and it was almost a quick, very shaky round para dun sa side nila.
At ngayon, Talon naman, nakikita naman natin na very promising na sana yung kanina, kaso nga lang ang daming pa ring errors kasi tingnan mo naman yung pitas nila sa isa't isa. Pero napapansin mo, Ling, usually these teams, they go for that half armor na parate para talagang hindi wasted yung economy. Pero nga lang, medyo kaganda kagad yung naging concuss na setup ni Crow. That's why they were able to back it out. At ngayon nga lang, may mga trades mula sa Talon mismo.
Naku, meron pa silang fault line dito magagamit. Sana man lang dito sa side ng Talon Esports. Napakagandang retake na makuha natin, especially when they still have all the flashes. It's gonna be online. Seeker's gonna be on its way, coming all the way from Haven. Napakagandang paranoia. Rolling Thunder, nagagaling pa nga sa City. At si Jeet Boys, walang makukuha, walang magaganap muna para sa retake na ito. Falling down in the heavens, he's gonna be Sushi Boy. Napakagandang drop down. Nako, he's gonna be out for more frags here in this game. Isang A-short play na makikita natin coming out from the zone, but the line is still gonna be there. Recon ball para sa isa. At mukhang hindi pa nga magko-connect. Laz has to do whatever he can with his 1v3. He sure has the information for sure, but mukhang diffuse pa nga dito ang ma-hold ni Sushi Boys. Abang muna sa gilid, it's gonna be Cruz once again. Popping off heads and popping off in this game.
Bakit kasi pinapatay niya sila? Na-offend kami.
Let him have his highlight.
Kaya nga, hindi niya binibigyan si Sasuke ng VALORANT Esports. But anyway, ang ganda-kagad ng first frag Sobrang laking impact nun kasi medyo na-delay yung mga side ng Zeta to actually entry sa mismong side. Ano to pa? Feel ko sobrang gulo ng comms pagdating sa Zeta kasi hindi sila nagsisync in. Kaya talagang confusing yung ginagawa nilang takes pagdating sa side. And look at the read coming in from Talon. Pero sabi ko, ang malaking game changer to. If you put Patipan on that duelist, but let's not forget na ang gaganda din ng flashes ni Jeet Boys talaga.
Napakagandang flashes, napakagandang support ang bibigay nila, especially to coming out from the side of Zeta Division. For now though, konting kasi magkita sa A-Link, but of course, what a good angle hold by Cruz. Stand pa nga ang makakuha para sa kanya. Sushi Boy, with a quick on support, makikita na si Jeet Boy taking out 2 in the process of holding out B-side. Taking out 3 with that classic. Full on reload muna tayo dyan, sir. Down to 40. Si Laz mag-aabang pa nga sa'yo dito para sa gong position. Now, Patifan decides to even join in the action once again. The spike not being planted just yet. A minute left on the clock para dito sa side ng Zeta. But dito sa side ng Talon, isang mabilisan wipe out na naman dito sa mga pushes na ginagawa sa kanila ng Zeta on B.
Puro tutok ata labanan nito, Ling.
Naging deathmatch.
Ano to? Unrated? Unrated.
Dati competitive comp grind. Ngayon, unrated na lang. Ganon ka-chill yung mga laro today.
Hindi man lang nila ginamitan ng utilities. Si Jeet Boys na naghihintay sa may backside, which is very obvious, right? Pero ginawa nila, hindi nila nirespect yung one player, and yan usually nagbi-miss out sa mga teams sa sobrang talagang ang bilis ng pagdating sa mga takes nila sa side. Pero to, si Patipan, akala mo duelist pero nag-lurk na nga kagad siya. Talagang gusto niyang i-agrabyado itong position nila sa may A-main.
Oh, napakagandang pressure na ilalaan nila dito para sa side on the map. But you know, give and take talaga, Zeta has shown no presence at all para sa mapang to. Konting abang, alam nila, may information sila makukuha with this outrun. But mukhang si Jitboys mo, konting magkakaroon muna tayo ng kasagutan dito. We still have a few ultimates that could be coming online here, coming up from the side of Talon. But we can actually anticipate this. How this will be para sa isa. Showstopper para sa wala, hindi magko-connect. And of course, the bullet do not even make sense at all. You see here, Talon has a really good hold para sa A-lobby position. Zeta, wala pang mga gawa kahit sobrang rami nilang utilities na kanilang naitatapon sa ground na ito.
Ano ginagawa ni Dep? Ito yung mga naging autolock jet eh. Tapos na tayo makapitas ng isa. Makakapitas nga, pero that's not gonna be giving them a upper hand against Talon as of now. Si Laz goes for the recon, tries to get some information na sobrang valuable, pero wala pa rin silang makukuha. Tapos, ipupush pa rin nila tong sabi nila, oy, gawin na nga natin to. Wala namang mawawala sa atin at the same time. Pero, I feel like this is going to be skeptical sa Zeta. Bakit? Kasi kikita mo naman, kahit mag-plant nila yan, wala na nga ganong number sa kanila. At basang-basa nga na mag-reheat lang naman sila sa A site din. Foxes goes for a call. Makakarinig na kagad siya ng mga footsteps. Pero kita mo naman yung plant niya ngayon. Bumababa. Naku po, hindi na stretch out kagad ni Ten. At dalawa na lang kagad natitira sa Zeta sa isang iglap.
Nako, madali ang retake itong mga gagawa ng Talon ngayon dahil mayroon silang maraming utilities magagamit para sa play na ito. Objective ngayon dito muna ng Zeta is going for their postmats. What can they do with Crow? Fault line in. Of course, the flash is still gonna be online. But Paranoia, may tatapon para sa L position. Magpitas siya na yung mga mabilisan lang dito para kay Sushi Boy. Now, Laz, again, player with the 1v3. Naku, sana naman makuha niya. Sushi Boy is still gonna be out for the defuse. But naku naman, another clutch being denied here from the side of Zeta and for Laz as well. Slipping that opportunity away from his hands.
Ang daming errors talaga sa Zeta as of now. Kita mo naman yung nangyari dun eh. Yung entries ni Dep, hindi naman sobrang laki ng impact. Tapos ang bibilis na mga take nila. Kaya ngayon, basang-basa nga sila ng Talon pa natin whenever they go in A. Tapos yung mga moves ng Zeta sobrang alanganin. And then they will be leaving only Laz na nakahintay nga sa kanila sa may sewer side. Pero this is good for the side of Talon. They're actually building up already their momentum, especially in this map pick. Kasi pag nag-haven tayo, things might turn for a change. That might be enabling nga yung Zeta Division na makahabol sa kanila.
Oh, exactly. You have a good point there, but also you have to take into account talaga ang Talon ngayon. Napakaganda ng synergy na pinapakita nila sa retakes. Sushi Boy is just basically doing the same thing all over again. Dropping on Haven, napakagandang tapo ng fault line, partner up ng Paranoia na yun at mukhang fully disabled. Kaagad ang backside and this re-put Zeta. Medyo naging limitado talaga yung kung saan talaga nila makukuha yung mga magagandang post plants. Nakuha nga nila ang sites for sure, but what else can they do from there given that no overwhelm sila kaagad sa Talon with the utilities, with the firepower na itatapon para sa kanila, which is just unfortunate dito, but you know, the timeout has been called and I'm pretty sure they've called out those mistakes as well. We're witnesses, yeah.
Oh, kasi kita mo yung double initiator talaga dito sa Talon will just stop yung aggressiveness ng Zeta Division. Ang dami nilang flashes, may kasama pang Paranoia. Imagine you have like what, 5 flashes kagad sa first few moments, tapos pwede pang makuha nga ulit ng isa pang flash yung Sky na yan pag hinintay natin yung cooldown. Pero ngayon, Talon, they're already getting the hopes up for themselves, which is pretty important. Kasi nga tong map na to, map pick to ng Talon mismo, kaya dapat hindi nila tayo pahihiyain sa mapang ito mismo. Pero as for Zeta, onting disiplina talaga ang kanilang kailangan. Kasi kanina press W, wala silang kinakatakutan eh. Finally, they want to set it up, goes for a smoke. Pero nga lang, Dep, that might be dangerous. Kita-kita na kagad kung nasan siya, pero buti na lang kagad. Nakuha na nga din niya si Sushi Boys, but always check your corner. But there's just a trade-on coming in from Zeta. 3 members na lang kagad natin sa Talon. Mukhang alam na nila dahil na-headshot ang ulo ni Ten, si Mr. Patipan Boy.
Headshot sa ulo, body shot sa katawan nga, sabi niyo ni Jetboy, kumuha pa nga ng dalawa bago siya mapipitas. Now, 2v2, mukhang flashes naman ang labanan dito para sa side ng Talon. Napakarami ng posibleng matatapon and information as well to further secure this retake. Now, Silong, post plan dito magagawa ng Zeta. Isang mabilisang lineup lang makikita sana natin dito from 10, from last, but this is is not exactly going to be the case. They have to put this frag for frag, 1v1. Duel's going to be on point here, coming out from side for Foxy. Can he clutches? Will he even hold it? And takes away the frag one last time, taking out another round here for Talon. 5-2. What was that? Ano yun?
Foxy, nice one, baby!
Nice one!
The ultimate bias ng VCT ni Ray Ray. Si Foxy ang kanyang name. Pero, ang ganda na ginawa nila doon, they could still continued. Kasi yung alanganin ng posisyon ng dalawang members ng Zeta, I don't really buy yung cubby position. Kasi masuswingan ka talaga ng kalaban mo doon eh. So, dapat siya ganda doon. Kasi sinamahan na lang niya kagad yung isa pa ng teammate, which is si Laz, pagdating kay Tena, maybe they just went out dun sa may mismong kung saan mo pwede makuha yung orb, diba? C. Pero anyway, there's just a lot of mistakes for Zeta. One crucial mistake that they've been doing, at yun yung way para ma-lose nila yung game against Talon.
Losing a game, losing a utility early on in this game is gonna be the side here from Zeta, rolling thunder, flash out in. At mukhang si Zep, hindi pa nga makakuha, although he's gonna be pushing in a bit too deep on towards the side. But can they be more productive in this objective? Hinter pushes on towards CT. Ganda flash peek, dako naman, Sushi Boys! Hindi pa siya dito magtatapos. 2v2 na ang labanan dito. Ray Sushi Boys is mag-aabang, is mag-spray. Lapasan ng classic at mukhang buhay na buhay. Lockdown is not gonna be committing towards anyone though. It does not connect at all. But last once again with the clutch. Nako naman, sir. Baka ito na nga. Third time could be the charm here. Do you have enough shockers? For sure, yes. You could not even hear a single step being forwarded here para sa A-long position. All he has to do is isolate the fights. Can he put out the recon bolt up to use? But mukhang frag naman po ang makuha niya muna. Labanan ng duel. Phantom lang ang kinakailangan niya. Information can be coming on his way as well for the recon. But, you know, Sushi Boys, mukhang matatag out muna. Saktong wide swing. Hindi pa nga magko-connect. Structured muna para sa isa. Mukhang mapipilitan tayo dito to even put out this 1v1 quite in an early conclusion. Na si Sushi Boy pa nga ang magprevail.
Baker's advantage pa rin yun. Pwede ma-wallbang yung box mismo. Tapos low on HP pa. Or rather, wala ng armor. Si Laz, kaya alam mo, napapabor kay Sushi Boys. Ang ganda na sana na ginawa niya. Sabi mo nga, nag-isolate. Pero ito na naman yung problema sa Zeta. Masyado kayong aggressive. Pwede kasing hintayin dito. Look at Talon. They were always waiting for the entry by Zeta. Kasi alam nila nagmamadali. Wala talagang accurate na entries talaga. At yun yung malaki problema ng Zeta. It seems like they are not synchronized with each other, which is I find very shocking. Considering nga itong Talon, so wala nga silang panalo eh. Pero ang Zeta, dami na lang pinalo. Dapat talaga mas connected na sila ngayon. Pero Sushi Boys, they pop off through the space, through the smoke. Pero wala pa silang matatamaan. But let's try. As the depth, here's out nga yung kanilang mga footsteps. Pero good thing na lang kay Laz, he was able to cut off Patipan on that lurk side. But Crows, there's just the wall bang against Sugar Zero. Waiting na nga kagad sila dahil may lockdown na nilagay ang mga taga Zeta Division, and Talon mapapa-step back na sila on the retake.
Step back and buying enough time dito para sa side ng Zeta. Napakagandang use sana ng Trailblazers, but it's not gonna be getting information here coming out from the side of Talon. Sushi Boys putting this one all in the matter of his own hands. Isa lang kinakailangan nilang pipitasin. That's gonna be Crow. Fault line para sa isa. Does not connect at all. Gandang logs position, and that spray is definitely gonna be coming here once again for Sushi Boys. Back-to-back clutching here for the side of Talon, and, you know, holding on to their dear life for this Sentinel player.
Alam mo naman, tropa natin yan.
Oh,
tropahin. At ito pa, gusto ko lang idagdag na you know this comp of Talon really won. I really gave them a lot of wins sa APAC world, sa APAC nga na scene natin. At ito pa, when Sushi Boys is on that killjoy, alam mo talaga that he has that potential to always win those 1v1s, those clutches nga na sinabi mo. At ito pa, looks like they got the comfortability. Si Patipan, hindi mo na dapat nilalagay sa flexan. Bigyan siya ng one hardcore roll and he'll be able to grasp it. Pero nga lang, hindi talaga siya nagpa-pop off eh. We gotta give it to the two initiators talaga ng Talon. They are giving the best anchor that they can give against Zeta.
Especially that, napaka-versatile mga players at napakagandang pasok din ng ginagawa nila. They have finally understood their roles, and that's basically gonna be them performing that choreography that they've been doing time and time again para sa kanilang retake. But you know, one less player to even worry about. Cruz off the board already. One smoke off the equation here sa side ng Talon for the retake. 4v5. Boy na boy pa tayo dito sa side ng Zeta. Napakagandang post plant. And of course, we could definitely see 3 people anticipating the flank, anticipating the C-lock position for them to hold a single angler at the time. But Hunter's Fury muna. Labas muna tayo dito. Dyan muna, sir. Susi Boys, atras ka muna dyan. But bago mo lang lahat, sidestep tango in for 2 at mukhang makita natin si Foxy na naman dito, nag-aabang sa backside. Sugar Zero, ang mukhang magpipigilan muna kayo dito sa iyong retake dahil they have everything figured out finally dito sa Zeta.
Ang ganda kagad ng hinampas nila. Hinampas niya ng Hunter's Fury. Itong dalawang miyembro ng Talon which gave them a lot of space while waiting on that retake from Talon. Ito pa, Laz, he's like the superhero ngayon pagdating sa Zeta, and I'm happy to see this kasi dati he's on the chamber. Nung na-nerf, he needs to get a new role and now he's finally on that Sova talaga. Pero nga lang, will things turn out to be good? Kasi kapag ito naging 9-3, pwede nga maging 9-3, but I do believe that Talon right now is more calm, is more composed. They're actually, sabi mo nga, all connected, which is promising nga. Especially you're going up against a strong team nga na may magandang streak pagdating sa Zeta Division. Pero let's see, ang dami kagad hawak-hawak ng Talon ngayon. Meron pa silang kasama mga ultimates, but then, lugi sila pagdating sa mga baril.
Oh, delikado din talaga to. But you know, one shot lang sa ulong kinakailangan nila. Widow Sheriffs can actually Cruz deliver that para sa atin dito on Garage. And speaking of that, may more action here na dinalaan nila para kay Dep. But Showstopper na naman! Naku naman, Dep! Hindi pa siya magpapalampas dito ng basta-basta. He's deep on towards the side, and of course naman, his team can fully rely on him in holding off everyone na nagpupush na nagagaling sa A-Link. 7-4 dito, Riri. Mukhang 9-3 curse denied dito, sabi to ng Zeta.
Sorry, sabi nila sa mga casters, anong 9-3? Wala. We're gonna go to that 7-5. Most probably, as what I can see. And I'm not sure about how they want to perform on their attacking, but then I'm still looking forward to how Talon naman plays sa attacking din at the same time. Pero it's too early to tell. Pero sa Zeta talaga, kanina ang daming errors, pero buta na lang yung mga errors na nakikita natin sa kanila. Inayos na nga din nila sa isang iglap. But looks like Talon goes for a timeout. Hindi natin pwedeng ma-waste itong last round natin. We still need to get that 4-round advantage or else we might lose this chance to fight it out against Zeta Division.
Well, but you come to think of it, ang ganda din ng call nila dito sa timeout nila. Because a while ago, it wouldn't even make sense if sa eco lang nila, kahit sabihin mo may ultimates kayo na matatapon, but it cannot be productive at all. Mas maganda talaga na ma-maximize nila ang kanilang sarili, especially when they have everything on their arsenal, on their utilities. Ultimate game changers nga naman talaga yung mga ultimates na ito. And I'm pretty sure Talon could fully channel that in this round. Good way for them to cut off all momentum. We're coming up from Zeta Division. But you know, I'm pretty sure Zeta, good way for them to reset and preventing each other from overheating. Lalo na makita natin si Dep being fully online in this game as well. Narinig tayo kanina, ba't di ka nag-entry? Binigay na sa atin yun sa B-side paulit-ulit and napakaganda ng mga pasok niya so far.
Siyempre, magaling yan. Ano yan eh? Duelist yan.
Basta mga jetmate talaga. Dati initiator bias. Ngayon, you know, nagbago yung isip ko dahil sa pinakita sa akin ni Dep ngayon.
Ang ganda nga ng hair niya eh. You gotta give it to him. Gusto mo yung mga lalaking nakatali yung buhok? Naglalagay mo ng balance.
Actually, it's the blonde hair talagang dumala para sa kanya.
Oh, yun palang weakness. Ako, ang weakness ko po ay magaling mag-VALORANT na Radiant. Anyway, si Dep, naghanap na naman ngayon ng pwede niyang maisahan, pero wala pa nga kagad nakikita because Foxes will be going out. Uy, labanan ng mga pogi. Charot. At ngayon, titignan niya pa rin. He's gonna get that kill. Ma-open up kagad yung A-site papunta sa side ng
yung bias mo yung pinatay.
Oo nga eh.
Yan kasi.
Medyo masakit for me
Kasi ba't mo daw binigyan ng pansin si Dep? Kaya medyo nagtampo yung Sky May natin dito. Medyo nagtampo talaga yung mga initiator. Naglabas naman po ng utilities. At of course naman, si Dep hindi pa magpapahuli. May play store pa nga. 3K para sa kanya. But si Patty pa nandun lang po sa gilid na nag-aabang. Dito na tayo ngayon. Swarm ka rin ang kanyang tapakan. At buwang the floor is definitely gonna be laban. He is gonna be putting himself in a pretty awkward position, but it's, you know, walang awkward stage. Diretsuhan kagad, salpak kagad sa side, sabi daw ni Patty Fan. 4K could be the ace here if he actually takes out Crow, but si Sushi Boys medyo pangit ka, Banding. Grabe naman yun, kuya.
Alam mo, one thing lang that became fatal for Zeta was they didn't check out the backside. Doon sa likod ng default, si Sushi Boys tinamaan na nga siya ng ultimate. Meron pa kasamang lockdown and yet, hindi man lang siya chinek kagad ni Dep mismo. Pero di naman dapat kay Dep lang lahat ng kasagutan eh. Dapat, pwede din dapat si Ten or kaya si Sugar Zero na actually pick siya, di ba? So medyo naging, sabihin na natin, play low. Itong mga taga Zeta Division, nakampante sila masyado. Pero ngayon guys, i-explain pa siyempre yan ng ating panel. So guys,
Thank you, Ling and Ray Ray. Ayan na, 8-4 tayo dito. Raph, are you happy? 8-4 yung Talon Esports dito. Pero I think, medyo malakas. As in, malakas yung start ng Zeta Division dito. We saw them take those early rounds. Pero Talon took the game back. And I think Zeta definitely has the firepower here. Pero I'd say Talon Esports has been very methodical in their retakes and their duels.
Yeah, and to attribute this muscle memory on the side of Patifan, bumalik lang talaga. Give him the duelist and it's a no-brainer for the rest of Talon.
Totoo. I mean, I completely agree with that point. Hindi na pinilit ng Talon na maging flex si Patty. And again, he is right at home. He is pushing the tempo. He's leading his team. And another thing on the side of Zeta though, dami namang mga bias ni Ray Ray, pero alam ko yung paborito niya, si Purple Violet. It's an inside joke, but it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, no, what are you talking about? Nothing. Anyway, guys, to refocus on the game, kahit sobrang lakas ng fragging power ni, I believe it was Laz on the Sova, or was it? No, because Dep is on that jet, as I mentioned. But again, Laz on that Sova, kahit sobrang lakas niya magpa-frag, yung components niya, the supportive components getting, again, that confirm off the recon dart is sorely absent. And again, in the last round of the first half too, it's like, where are these shock darts landing? It's super shallow and just couldn't deny that post plant, unfortunately.
Exactly. You know, I think that maybe they're not, Zeta isn't utilizing all of the full value of their utils here, and Talon is just, you know, taking advantage of that, giving them that really free retake. But we'll just have to see what happens in the second half from our casters.
panel thanks to Rebby. Pero ngayon na nga, 8-4. At nakita nga natin na may sinabi si Raph, si Purple Violet daw yung favorite ko talagang player. Tama ka naman doon, Raph. At sabi nga daw niya, laro daw kayo ng rank game. Pero anyway, 8-4 na nga. Good start sa Talon. Syempre, kami dalawa ni Raph, mga Talon, ano talaga kami? Mga Talon supporters. Pero syempre, hindi pa naman tapos dahil nasa defending side na nga ang Zeta Division. But it looks promising for Talon because they only needed 5 rounds here in the second half and they'll be able to take this map pick in Haven.
Exactly. And kung iisipin mo talaga, once you're up against 2 initiators, sasabayan mo pa yun ng paranoia. Napaka-annoying mga kalaban. Nakaka-overwhelm talaga, lalo kayo na yung nagdadepensa. Of course, pagpipikit mo na lang next round na kaagad ang kanilang kakalabanin. And speaking of that, Dep might actually get a hint of them of making this mid-control happen to side ng Talon. Dahan-dahan muna tayo dito, sir. Saktong site-intensive defense na ginagawa muna dito ng Zeta Division. Hindi nila hahayaan ang sarili nila basta-bastang mapipitas, magkakaalamat at magkakaroon pa nga ng mabilisang labanan tayo dito sa A-short na mabibigay ni Foxy. A-set completely open at mukhang the rest of the team of Talon really has to catch up with the pace na ginagawa dito ng kuya natin na si Foxy. Nakakuha na nga ng dalawa with just by himself.
Enemy kill. But wait, there's more! Mukhang nakakuha na nga ng picks ngayon si Ten rather. Together with Dep. But then on this post plant, what will be the retake? Wala na nga silang available na, of course, initiator to get those information. Pero kita-kita mo naman si Sugar Zero. Goes with the paranoia. Maganda kagad yung ginawa ng control para ma-isolate. Pero nga lang, he didn't check si Sushi Boys at all. And right now, we only have Sugar Zero. And now, tinapos na din siya kagad ni Jit Boys. Pero pati pa naman teammates, sinama mo sa hukay. But this is going smooth for Talon Esports.
Going smooth as well. Napakaganda. Napakaswabe yung mga repicks nila dun. Ganda ng mga bait and switch. And of course naman, perfectly coordinated post plant na ginagawa nila to make sure na hindi mapapasawalang bisa itong ginagawa ni Foxy. The impact early on in the round, and kitang-kita mo naman doon yung bias talaga dito ni Ray Ray. Nagpapakitang kilos. Bakit daw? Kasi tumingin ka pa kay Dep kung nandun na daw siya sa site.
Alam mo, yun yung gusto ko sa yung partner eh. Pero kita mo naman na sa Talon, it looks promising, especially on their attacking. Syempre, ito talaga yung specialty nila. Whenever we see them play in Haven, their attacking has always been so solid. Pero Zeta, ano nangyari? No, it seems like they got lost in translation. Maybe they asked for too much. Maybe this thing was a masterpiece to turn it all around. Running scared, I was there. At then, medyo may sinabi tayong lyrics ng kanta ni Mami Taylor Swift. Pero, Foxes na nga, katumatay kumuha ng informasyon pero walang nakuha ng kanyang kasamang aso. Pero habang yan na naman, Talon, they are much more careful. Sabi nila, ingat tayo sa mga small corners because Zeta can still get that upper hand. Pero Zeta, tignan mo naman ginawa nila, nag-A-stack sila. At kung ang Talon, kinain nila yung pain na yan, baka ma-GG pa sila sa mismong round na to. Pero good call naman na they will actually set up for Seaside.
Oh, ganda talaga ng mga basa nila dito ngayon so far. Coming up from Talon, daan-daan na naman tayo dito. Isang killjoy lang kailangan nilang haharapin. Wala nga lang setup, but it's still gonna be the share that they have to even deal with. Nagagalit dito Silong, si Ted, nag-aabang. Just the 5 players here coming out from Talon. Mukhang hindi pa nga sila maghahabulan. Papunta sa C. The Spectre's gonna be coming into action. Paranoid coming into play naman. Default position is gonna be completely disabled. But the Sushi Boys can do whatever they can. Chris still gonna be there. 15 seconds. 12 seconds left on the clock. Wala pang spike plant. Nandito na kaagad ang Zeta Division. And we could definitely rely on Foxy sana. But thrifty play dito. Launch tech chain na pinakita dito ni Dep. Napakagandang pasok at Bawi, laban-laban. And you just say Bawi on that side real quick.
Alam, aside from that Conyoling, sobrang ano nga eh. Napansin mo yung kay Dep, he started it real good. They weren't able to take him down. Nag-audition pa sila sa kanyang harapan. Let's not forget this man is actually good with his shots. It's actually good with his sheriff. At ayan ang nangyayari. They have to pay for that price. And now, sabi ng Zeta, hindi pa tapos when we are on our defending. But then Talon, dapat ito na yung mga moments na mas lalo sila mag-heat up, na mas lalo maging confident sila kasi pag na-shutdown sila, Ling, baka mahabol pa sila ng Zeta.
Kaso they have everything na sana kasi ngayon dito may mga flashes kahit anong ba matatapon sana nila sa Zeta. But for this time around, napatrifty sila. Kung kaya gawin ng Zeta sa kanila yun kanina, they should definitely have to pull out a quick fight na naman dito sa A-short that could completely fall in the favor na naman dito ng Talon. But time and time again, we could definitely see Zeta putting their experience up into the action here na alam nila on what they should be anticipating. Pistol round sa kalaban, flashes coming in para dito sa short. At mukhang spray mo na galing kay Tep, ang makakuha mo na kay Sushi Boys. Now Crow with the Bulldog, taking out 3 in the process. Napakagandang hold. And it's now gonna be left here in the hands of Cruz with his Spectre all alone sa A-short. Of course, makakuha mo na siya dito ng isa na magdadala sa larong to onto a 9-6. An eco loss dito coming out from Talon, but the effort is still gonna be there.
At least, round confirm pa rin sa Zeta and ang score natin ay 6-9.
Nice.
Pero all in all, ang Talon, akala natin it's gonna be like a 10-4 scoreline, but it didn't happen at all. And Zeta, they're counting the rounds. 3 rounds na lang before maging tie pa nga. At Talon, dapat talaga panindigan na nila to. Ang ganda na nung kanilang start, and yet seems like it might fall if they continue to disrespect nga itong mga ginagawa ng Zeta against him. Ang ganda na ng defending nila. Lahat nakuha nila, utility-wise. Pero tong Zeta, iba din yung upgrade nila ngayon din eh. Talagang pipik sila sa corners na alam nila na meron silang advantage and they'll be able to get those kills as much as possible. Pero syempre, ibang larangan na to ngayon. Dahil parehas na silang may magagandang guns.
Magagandang positioning din yung pinapakita dito at utility usage na tinatapon so far ng Zeta. Alam nila kung gaano kadelikado talaga for them to go up against the flash peak side by side dito para kay Patifan. Kaya mas mabuti na lang na iiwasan nila yan. At kitang-kita mo naman dito, you know the setup that they're trying to pull out dito sa B site na naman. They could actually be fully confident na makaka-retake doon. But for this time around, Talon, nag-aaba ng impormasyon, gathering all that they can and fully react to it as much as possible. And speaking of that, makita natin the scatter being committed here at mukhang mga-cancel out na isang mabilisan dito para sa side ng Talon. Paranoia, galing sa backside. Joker Zero is gonna be putting out more than just one player. Side by side with him is gonna be Killjoy. 10, kuha ng isa. Magkagandang peak sana, but mukhang nag-aabang tayo dito. Side ng Talon. Paranoia na naman. Bladestorm ilalabas na naman dito ni Dep. But nag-TP pa nga sa backside ito si Crew. Napakadelikado. Foxy, susubukan maglason. Ganda ng lineup ng Shock Dart, but can he take out the quick on timing para sa isa? No more recon ball dito para sa side ng Zeta. Gandang frag out para kay Cruz at mukhang ganun na nga. Talon nakabagbawi with their buy round.
Finally, they found that initials here sa mismong seaside. Kahit pa sabihin nyo napigilan sila ng isang katulad ni Ten, si Ten from Naruto, nakapasok pa rin naman sila. They were able to escape the 3v5. Tapos guting pala kay Foxes na talagang kumuha siya ng lurk picks kasi alam niyang wala pa nag-check sa kanya, or maybe kinol nga din ng kanyang teammate na nasa city lang sila para maka-pinch right through siya. Zeta, ang dami nga nilang errors pagdating sa kanilang defending, pero syempre the promise is still there. 4 rounds they have to take against Talon, but ang Talon, knowing na nasa momentum na sila, medyo unstoppable na nga sila ngayon, Ling.
Unstoppable, especially talaga if alam nila kung ano yung mga limited set of utilities na matitira para dito sa retake na ginagawa din ng Zeta Division. Ang laking bagay din talaga nung lurky sneaky beaky plays na ginagawa dun kanina ni Foxy, because without that recon bolt, that puts them in parang pushing out in a blind area that is supposed to be their objective for that game, but mahirapan talaga sila without that information. They're just like blindly pushing on towards the seaside, and to come to think of it, I'm pretty sure they understand the value of each and every player that they have lost in this game. You know what else is lost? That time that they have played in this game. Kasi kung tutuusin, kahit sabihin mo may kalamangan pa rin yung Talon a while ago, they are doing the best that they can to catch up, and Talon is just starting to get used to the whole facing sa attacking side.
If they take this series against Zeta Division, all I can say is that maybe they are still adjusting with Patipan. Diba? Kasi iba nga yung roster nila nung nasa lock-in sila. And dun sa lock-in, they finish out nga in the top 8. Pero syempre, hindi pa naman tapos. Until we don't get the 13 sa Talon, hindi pa confirmed tong mapang to. And hopefully nga, sabi ko, kailangan nila mapanindigan itong momentum nila here in Haven. And Seraph nga, kailangan pasayahin ng Talon kasi medyo nalulungkot talaga kami. Kasi Zeta pa rin naman tong kalaban nila at the same time. Pero habang yan, slow plays lang sa Talon kasi medyo talaga natatamaan sila kagad ng accurate paranoia si Sugar Zero together with that concuss coming in from Crow. But while that is going well for Talon, hintay pa rin sila ng magandang pick-off, ng magandang isa-set up just to be able to tackle down Zeta. Pero narinig na nga nila kagad yung full commitment. Nabasa na rin kagad sa isang iglap pero wala pa rin silang nadidilit. Instead, Sugar Zero will be able to take down Patipan kagad.
Ganda ng crossfire na ginagawa nila dito. Ganda ng ilag din ng mga flashes dito na tinatapon sa kanila ng Talon. But the Seekers gathering your information. Foxy din naman dito nakapaglason na naman sa garahe position. He's gonna be taking out before disengaging himself in the conversation. But you could see an effort here coming out from depth. But we meet this with the operator. At mukhang si Sushi Boys unang mabibiktima dito sa hands of Crow. And Zeta finally. Good response. Quick adjustments on the perfect timing then on how Talon was running and racing their way towards B-site.
Alam mo, ilang rounds na silang na-punish ni Sugar Zero sa mid platform. They still can't get him. And that's the biggest problem that they have to face right now. Di ba dapat kapag meron ka kagad breach, meron ka kagad race, meron ka din naman kagad na isang katulad ng Sky, kaya niyong ma-take down si Sugar Zero, and yet they still can't manage him in C-side. Di ba? Sabi mo nga, Patience, napakadali. And hindi nila ma-execute. I don't know, marami talagang problems yung Talon minsan. Ang ganda na ng-start, and yet nawawalan sila ng momentum. At ngayon, alam na naman, puro crossfires lang din ang ginagamit ni Zeta against them.
Oh, crossfires and konting aggression din malalabas nila dito para sa A-short position. Kitang-kita mo naman, si Foxy is gonna be leading out the parade once again on towards A-site. But mukhang si Tep, napakalalim dito sa sewers! Mukhang bababad muna tayo sa mga madudumi-dumi, getting his hands dirty once again as he takes out Cruz. In the process, napakagandang counterlock na may papakita dito ng attacking side. Naku naman, Talon, you really need to have something to further solidify this objective on towards A side. Then the spike no longer in the possession here, coming out from the side of Sushi Boys and Foxy. Sugar Zero here to raid out the party once again. 1v3, Kuya Mano, make it stop. Sushi Boy here. Naku naman, Sheriff lang kanyang mabibitbit dito, Ray. Ano ang kanyang magagawa with the smoke? Shrouded step. Posible pa nga, baka ankle breaker si Sugar Zero dito as soon as they try to figure out on where the push is gonna be coming from. But cross out that narrative, just gonna be that unanticipated angle here coming up from the Killjoy.
Guys, remember, it was an 8-4 and now we are down with a 10-8. Pinatigil sa 10. Itong Talon, and they are so powerful right now when it comes to Zeta. Grabe, alam mo, the only thing na nananalo ang Zeta so far against Talon is all those utilities being connected together just to stop them. And ang Talon naman, sobrang reckless nila. Not checking out the corners, not checking out kung nasaan yung isang main player ng Zeta Division, and they really need to mind that. This is not just puro tutok. This is also how you outsmart them. And Zeta so far, they are outsmarting Talon. And if that continues, Ling, mukhang may makakambak ata na team ngayon at ang pangalan nila ay talagang Zeta Division. At totoo na naman, hindi nila mapapunish si Dep. This will be dangerous for them.
Oh no, dangerous talaga, lalo na kung may rolling thunder din ang side dito ng Talon. Of course, a few bit of luck na spray natin through the smoke could be something that could be quite productive dun para sa side ng Talon. But unfortunately though, napagandang answer back, Hunter 3 side by side with the rolling thunder. Completely disabled ang ating race player. But si Sushi Boys napagandang backup side by side with the Cruise as well. Walang smoke, we still have the spike plant to even go far para sa round na ito. But Zeta Division has basically thrown out enough utilities doon. They have an operator that can be quite too difficult in playing out this retake, but you could still expect talaga a performance coming here, given that may flank na magaganap coming out from C-Long. Of course, the Sova last can be completely reliable, but ganda din ang timing ng pag-push dito at pag-pick ni Sushi Boys. It's all gonna be left in the hands of Death. 1v4. Walang flash, walang utility, wala man lang smoke. Nag-aaba lang siya ng konting kaasiman na magagaling dito sa side ng Talon. At mukhang hindi pa nga yun ang mabibigay para sa kanya at magsisave na lang siya.
Ang ganda ng kinol ngayon ng Talon finally, just because of yung kalampag ng papag nga sa C-site na disable nila si Dep, nakuha pa nila napakabilis yung site. And even if we've seen nga yung Hunter's Fury ni Laz, he wasn't able to take down one mismo sa site, kaya yun ang naging advantage ng Talon. Only 2 before they can grasp this round, this map rather. And then ito nga, sobrang promising ng mga movements ng Talon. Even if there are moments nga na nawawala sila, at least ngayon, they are still working on their mistakes all together. And they might get this against Zeta. Pero to sa Zeta, kapag natalo pa sila, mahihirapan sila sa economy. Kind of, next round. Pero ngayon, sa second try ng Talon sa C-site, ito nga ba ulit yung magiging mistake nila?
Well, ang laking bagay talaga kung saan nila magdedesisyonan kung which side they're gonna be taking in the round. Given that you're able to fully disable an operator, that can be a huge difference on how your round's basically gonna be going. Because matic yan, -1 posible. And it is gonna be the most productive outcome talaga that they should be anticipating. But for this time around, Talon, isang explosive play na ma-anticipate natin dito. C-site naman din ang labanan. Gandang satchel play. Spotty fan, showstopper para sa isa. Of course, he's gonna be connecting in para sa side kay Ten. Si Laz naman dito para to put on a quick on backup. Sugar Zero, nag-hold down the fort dito para sa side ng C-Long. At mukhang hindi pa nila hahayaan, palalampasin dito ang mga Talon Esports na nagraragasa papunta sa side. But you know, speaking of that, Sushi Boys already up for the flank. Napakagandang lurk na kanya nagagawa. But kitang-kita mo naman dito, Zeta is gonna be doing the best that they can to actually put everything to a halt. Everyone down to a 1v2. Cruz at Sushi Boys na naman dito ang mabubuhay.
Parati silang naka-cut off ng flanks ng Talon. Yung kanilang garage, pag call nila na lahat nasa site na, hindi pa rin nila binabantayan tong garage sa side ng Zeta. And that's going to be fatal parati. Siyempre tong Talon, obviously, kapag alam nilang open kagad yung mismong garage, kukunin pa rin nila yung power hold dyan. Pero ngayon, Dep all by himself. Will he be able to clutch this? No Blade Storm available. Pero magiging good read pa to as Kraus goes for a plant. He might deny him! Pero sabi ni Sushi Boys, I got you, fam! And it's already a match point for the side of Talon Esports. Ang ganda na ginawa actually ni Sugar Zero. Kung nakita mo yon, nag-ultimate kaagad siya. Tapos naglabas siya ng paranoia. He denied the entry of Talon. But then, there's just the main guy right here. His name is Sushi Boys. Ang ganda ng mga lurks niya. Ang ganda ng call ni Kraus on what they can do just to be able to re-hit up in C-site.
Backup lang talaga talaga dito ang ginagawa ng Talon so far kasi naiintindihan talaga nila kahit simpleng crossfire lang, malaking bagay talaga yun on how they're gonna be holding down yung mga pushes na ginagawa or sabihin natin yung mga counters na tinatapon dito and the pressure na ginagawa ng Zeta Division para sa kanila. Kahit utility ang meron kayo, but it's just a matter of time for them to find out those openings on where they're gonna be taking out those duels. And speaking of that, Seaside has been the most successful site that they have been taking out so far, but I'm excited to see how Talon is going to be a bit more creative given that they have enough wiggle room for errors now that they have the match point in this game.
Talagang if everything fails for Talon, at least they have those flashes sa mismong rounds. It kind of saved them, you know? Pero, syempre, hindi pa naman tayo tapos ngayon. But Pat, he takes down Laz kagad. Ano yun? Yung double swing kagad na gusto ko na Zeta. Hindi nga nangyari. Lahat ng information, alam na rin nila kagad. There's the guy with the operator and there's this man named Dep. Waiting lang ulit ang Talon for a guy who's gonna be peeking them. Na-excite masyado si Dep. Walang tumama at all. And ito pa, isa na lang na kill mula kay Sushi Boys. He can turn on that lockdown which is gonna be giving them an upper hand, syempre.
Upper hand, especially kung makakuha nila ng isa pang pitas with the defensa. And of course naman, it's gonna be putting Zeta Division in a pretty tight spot. I have to say, given that they have to man out 3 sites in this map. And speaking of that, nakapitas na naman to. Kuya natin, Foxy, gandang opening. But speaking of that, you can definitely see a performance coming in from Batifan as soon as you get a better position, better angles, and of course the verticality being on point here, coming out from his place. Now, Talon Esports taking out the first map. Good performance coming in from them, but Zeta Division almost had them at a certain point, but it's just that almost is never gonna be enough. But bago mo ng lahat, guys, don't worry. Dahil may second map pa tayo doon, Ray, di ba?
Siyempre, map-pick nila to. Dapat talaga patunayan nila on why they picked this map and how they can get that real big advantage against Zeta. But I'm so sad kasi yung Zeta magaling pa rin naman sila sa Haven kung sakasakali. But then, those flash plays coming in from Talon, the concusses ng Jeet Boys, sobrang laki ng impact compared on how they perform pagdating sa Zeta. Dep also kind of reckless nung first half natin. At hindi ito naging healthy para dating sa Zeta Division.
Hindi talaga ito magiging healthy in the long run given at hinahayaan talaga nila yung mga konting red flags on their play at pinapalampas nila yon. Kailangan as early as possible to make this relationship work with the team. They have to correct each other's mistakes. Try to talk it out. Napakaganda sana ng mga call nila sa mga timeout na yun ng Zeta Division, but I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be a lot more talking that they have to do on the second map because, you know, kung tutusin, ang ganda sana ng mga plays nila. It's just that they have to be there, rallying right behind him because it's not enough if you're gonna be putting one player on the server fragging out. It's a 5v5 game. Everyone has to perform. Everyone has to make ambag sa mga plays na pinipilit nyo.
Hirap talaga kapag parating pinipilit, no? Pero ito na, good call for Talon. This looks promising for them. And if they take down Ascent, ito pala mga Talon, sleeping giants lang. They can actually take down a great team like Zeta Division nga who has that, you know, upper hand na parang hinitignan ng mga fans na pwedeng makapasok ka papunta sa next natin. Right now, guys, we're gonna go in for a break, guys. And let's go!
Hi.
Nice, let's go to VALORANT.
はい。これ武器は何でもいいんですか？いきます。やばいやばい。やばいこれは。16。
Let's go.
I want it all. Run it. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it. Run it. Yeah. I want it all. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it. Yeah. I want it all. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Ooh. Run it. Yeah. Run it. I want it all. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it. Yeah. Run it. Run it, ayy. I want it all low key. With the bag and the gold, put it all on me. Shawty want my time, but the time frame only from 9 to 3. Oh, yeah, I said that right. I'm the king, I'm the god that'll go OT, so I don't tell no lies. I deserve everything all they took from me, but the flow intoxicated. Most of y'all cartoons animated. I need all of my split like a segregation. Irrigation from the way created. I'm a living saying, relocated. Flights and chases while I'm at it stating. No, I catch a check, so you should see the statement. I'm the bank, but I'ma need the payment, so I want it all. Run it, run it, yeah. Run it, run it, run it, yeah.
Welcome back to VALORANT Champions Tour Pacific League 2023 Filipino broadcast. I'm your panel host, Rebixco, and with me on the panel is Juicy Brucey and Raph. And we just came out of Game 1 of our series for today, Talon Esports versus Zeta Division, and in favor of Talon Esports. So, Raph, you seem extra happy today.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
look at that!
Who wouldn't be happy, right? But sabi ko kanina, this could be their confidence game kasi it is a run back. But at the same time, I'm still a little worried on Talon's side kasi medyo shaky yung ibang rounds. Si Patifan, sobrang comfortable niya sa role niya. Pero minsan may overextension pa din. And I feel like they had a little bit more trouble during that attacking side because they just really did not have a safe way to gather or a reliable way to gather information. Again, they have bot, they have Sky Flash, but again, it's not the same way as a Sova scan or a Fate scan. But of course, yes, congrats on that map 1 tell.
It worked. And on the side of Zeta D, surprising for Laz na hindi siya we've discussed this in the halfway na hindi siya hindi siya nakakapag-clutch masyado when we were kind of used to seeing that, especially 10. Pero kanina we were praising etong mga players na nga to na they stepped up. They kind of stepped down right now. So, well, I mean, Haven pa rin, they played it thrice in this league, pero their results aren't as, hindi naman sobrang convincing. So, seeing Haven over there, it's kind of like expected na parang yung Talon. Okay, they might take this. Might. So, yeah, I think that's the best way to explain it. But they did. Apparently, Talon did. And I really, gusto ko talaga itong i-attribute doon kay Patifan. Kasi the muscle memory kicking in na bilang duelist, it just feels so innate in him. Nature niya yun. And 4Ks, 3Ks at average per round. So, well, Pati, pat on the back.
Exactly. Parang gumising siya bigla. But, going here to our MVP of the match, so Sushi Boys, I think we saw some really good action from both the boys here. I think Talon Esports just kind of feels a bit fired up today. We could really see a lot of high-impact clutches especially. And, just going into this, Sushi Boys really feels like he just stepped up, especially, Patifan, I agree with you na, like, he does feel like he woke up being backed on the duelist. But I feel like Sushi Boys has just been excellent on his KJ, especially with his use of the mollies, really just denying Zeta that really the time to take up space for the retake. You could really see it rewarded them so well, and I really feel like a lot of those retakes are also just attributed to Sushi Boys here. Yeah,
yun yung kulang na ginawa ng Zeta Division. I think when they were playing as attackers, I think that was around 10 or 11. Na parang the shock darts of Laz were kind of short, yung nano swarms too early. So it really boils down na parang mga util uses na ginawa nila, hindi siya nag-work out for the rest of Zeta Division, which kind of excited for second map kasi nga firepower power plays.
Tingin ko nga din yung rotation sa Zeta, I think it's a little slower today. Again, that's the reason why Sushi Boys had so many clean fights. Again, it's just the macro scale. I love the support flash on the side of Foxy, who's been an excellent initiator. Like I said, despite the weakness of not having the most reliable confirms or info gathers, it still really is so lean towards fighting, and it makes a lot of sense because Patty is finally back on the duelist, as we mentioned. Pero baka gumising din yung Zeta dito kasi Ascent, they were really impressive. Granted, it was against DFM, but I guess with what's the name of that? It was a transitive property because DFM gave Secret a hard time, and Secret's really strong. So in turn, DFM is also really strong on Ascent. So
You know.
Talon's still gonna win. I'm kidding.
Well, speaking of Talon, we're actually getting news here that Sushi Boys is being subbed out and Garnets is going to be subbed in. So we were talking about how we also did like Garnets kind of being that the what do you call the placeholder or something for Patifan in the meantime, and we just saw Sushi Boys perform so well here on this map, so it's kind of
pinalitan yung MVP.
Exactly.
Ang lungkot no.
ano tawag doon? Change the winner.
Galing mo muna.
But change the winner nga. So it looks like maybe Sushi Boys has performed pretty well, and I think they're also trying to see how they can make this 6-man work. We were talking about this off stream just now. Last week as well, and it's just utilizing all of these different compositions on the roster and seeing that this one did work out with Patty here. We're I think we can see the same success with Garnets because again we have seen that all the way from in the season this year.
Yeah, which scares me by the way going into the second map kasi tinagal nga nila si Sushi Boys. Does this mean Patifan will be playing as like a flex again or like a support? Kung ano mo yung gagamitin niya. Of course, Garnets is already here, so yun yung medyo nakakatakot for going into second map. And aside from that one, if we are looking at the whole performance of Zeta Division dito sa VCT Pacific, it's their most played map with a 75% win rate for Zeta D over at Ascent. So parang mas confident going into this match. And again, itong map yung pinili ng Zeta Division. So I think they're kinda ready to take this away from them. So if kanina at Haven we were looking at the very not so skillful use of their utilities, maybe kung dito na yung firepower ang papakita for Zeta Division, which kinda gets me scared for Talon Esports. So I don't know, Raf, mayroon ka bang counterpart dyan or just don't say anything?
I kind of want to take a guess on like who might adjust to what. Kasi tingin ko nga si Patifan dapat siya talaga yung either solo duelist or entry duelist para sobrang komportable niya kahit siguro yung performance niya magdidip. At least he's comfortable with the way he's approaching things. Garnet, I think they might run double initiator here and maybe move Cruz to Sentinel, either him or Jit Boys. Pero yun nga, hula lang eh. Kasi yung Talon, palagi na lang sila nag-experiment lately. This is the only game, or at least this was the only series so far that they're very reminiscent of what they used to be. Meanwhile, on the side of Zeta though, I feel like they should have an upper advantage on this map. Lalo na pick pa nila, diba? Again, just the showing against DFM and knowing how to answer that defensive aggression. But I feel like another weakness that Zeta showed is that they're also very wary of that aggressive push. They like to dump utility proactively, and that gives a lot of time for Talon to kind of like just sit back and think, wait a minute guys, we have way more utility than them, so take it easy.
Exactly, and we did see them, they played those rounds very slow paced. We saw they would even push, wait until 30 seconds, the classic late push. But again, adding on to your, both of your points na, this sub out is really interesting because we could see either a really big shift in roles here, or we could see Patty stay on the duelist, and again maybe Garnet's on that initiator. So I kind of think that we're gonna be seeing the double initiator here. I agree that Patty again should stay on that duelist, and we've seen him on the initiator, we've seen him on the KO a couple of times here, and I just don't think he was as proactive as we've seen just from the game just now.
Kind of scared with like KO eh. I mean, like if we're talking about KO, I'm pretty sure lalagay nila dito kay Patifan again, and it just doesn't make sense after yung performance yun in Game 1. I was really thinking kung maglalaro si Patifan in Game 1, siya yung isa-sub out again for Game number 2, but apparently yung MVP ngayon tinanggal. Pero that's kind of okay. That's kind of aight. Pero, going into Zeta Division again, I want to focus more on their performance over in the map Ascent. Both as average scores as attacker and defender. They're even-sided, 6-6 on average at both. So parang, it seems like Zeta Division going into this match, they're kind of balanced into any positions na pwede sila mag-start going into this Game 2.
Nakita mo ba yung eye roll kapag sabi mo KO kanina? Parang, oh my God.
I know, ayaw mo talaga sa mga KO pick eh.
To be fair, I think lately Ascent has been a prio map for KO, mainly because Killjoy has been so strong, so they just kind of want to not deal with the initial nano plus slow combo if and ever they're gonna have an Astra on the field. But at the same time, it also kind of circles back on this whole Patty thing, right? Is putting Patty back on the duelist role a band-aid solution? Because how is this gonna pan out long-term kung si Garnet pa or si Jitboy pa yung mag-adjust sa role nila? And again, Cruz, I feel like despite his time being spent on where he is currently, it's kind of like trying to learn a new skill, you know what I mean? Kahit may familiarity na. So I feel like this team needs a little bit more time to cook.
Exactly, and you know, I think that's what they're doing here dito sa VCT Pacific. They are just cooking and they're trying different recipes, adding different variations of the ingredients. As you can see, we took out the sushi boys and we added in a pinch of garnets here. So hopefully this composition still works out. We do want to see Talon finally take this series again. This is still kind of like maybe we're grasping at straws here that maybe Talon could still make it into
Save the turtles.
No. Save the turtles.
Sure, save them. Pero, you know, going into Ascent, looking at Talon, their performance here throughout VCT Pacific, they've never won it. Tapos, sa dalawang times na nilaro nila yung Ascent, they had different agent compositions. Nakita rin natin dito yung Gecko, and they did not work out for them, for Talon. So, another round 3 of experimentation again. Or maybe they're going back to the boards. Okay, here we go. We're looking at agent compositions. Meron silang Cypher, which hindi nila to pinalabas so far this time, third time.
Well, we are seeing Patty on the KO again. I think just as predicted, right? Raph is just disagreeing, shaking his head right now.
I mean, to be fair naman, Split is going to be a decent map for them to begin with, but yun nga, parang band-aid solution talaga. I like the Cypher pick though. I really like the Cypher pick.
I do too. Well, I guess we're just going to see what happens in this next match. So, Ling and Ray, take it away.
Hi! We are still here nga sa ating VALORANT Pacific League. And syempre, ang ating matchup ngayon is between Talon together with Zeta Division. I am Ray 2X and join me here is Link 2X. At kami pa rin ang shoutcasters. Pero ngayon, nakita mo na nga yung agent selection nila, Ling. And I think the fact na wala si Sushi Boy sa mismong match MVP natin, medyo talaga mag-iiba yung pacing. But then, maybe there's a promising, statement ngayon kung bakit ba sila nag-cypher, bakit nalagay nila si Garnet.
Parang nakakadismaya din na makikita na yung Killjoy player na malakas pa nga sa Ascent. Hindi natin makita. But you know, maybe Talon Esports, maybe nabaon silang surpresa para sa ating ngayong gabi. Hindi na sila magdadala ngayon dito ng KO hindi na sila magdadala ng Gecko at KO na ang kanilang ilalabas. Interesting composition dito, Ray. And kung tutuusin talaga, a lot could happen in the Pacific League. And for Talon naman din with a better mentality that they're approaching in this game, sana naman ito na yung kanilang parang ultimate moment of redemption sa Ascent because so far, hindi pa nila ito napapanalo and Zeta looking pretty solid naman. I really do hope that it's gonna be for the best para sa desisyon nila ngayong gabi.
Talagang may mga pampigil sila. Almost the same comp. Nagkiba lang pagdating sa kanilang Sentinel. But then sabi nga ni Raph, he likes itong Cypher pick. And ako din, if they won't be able to take off those tripwires, especially later on when we switch yung sides, this might be a big lead from Talon. Pero ngayon, sisimulan na nga nila kagad. Tapos hindi pa ngayon si Garnets, si Garnets ang kanilang duelist, so let's see if it's gonna be effective or not. Waiting lang kagad yung Talon sa isang opening, waiting for Foxes na mag-pull off na nga kagad ang recon. As he gets in, no one's gonna get detected, but at least there's a takeoff already from Garnets as he tries to clear out yung sides.
Huge takeaway na makuha nila malabilisan dito coming out from the side of Talon. Quick on plan magagawa ni Patifan dito, but you definitely have to see and anticipate kung anong mababato muna dito ng side ng Zeta with minimal activities they actually have spent out para sa larong to, but gandang dashing sana nagagawa ni Depton. But si Crow muna ang magkukuha ng mga buhay dito sa side ng Talon. Good on swing and the drop. Kita natin si Crow dito down to 30. But si Jit Boys nakaalam-alam. Jit Boys na hindi nga siya kawalang kamalay-malay at mukhang aware siya na it's gonna be two players inside the smoke. Can he pull out the clutch? And yes, he does! Kapakagandang Red Bull clutch na pakita natin dito coming out from the Cypher main himself. Napakagandang turnaround from Talon.
I am very impressed on that Cypher coming in from Jitbus. Ito pa, hindi niya kagad inasim. May kasamang disiplina nga on that Red Bull clutch. Ito pa, hindi pa nila napin down kasi no info sa kinol nila. Hindi natin makita yung Cypher as of now. And nag-pull off nga siya ng knife, but he went through the smoke. Disiplina nga talaga. Ganda ng read niya ngayon. At sabi ko nga, there's a reason why they picked this Cypher. There's a reason why. Bakit naka-Cypher si Jitboys? And right now, maybe it's finally paving in for Talon.
Ganda ng bounce nun lang. Ngayon na nakita para mabilisan din ang pagland ng arrows doon. The recon ball. Galing para sa top mid, but si Dep pa nga hindi pa mabilis para makailag man lang dun sa mga balang tinatapon sa kanya ni Foxy. Now, 4v5 kaagad. Wala nang duelist, wala na si Dep, wala nang impact. But you could definitely rely on dito sa side ng Zeta with the 4 players remaining dito. They could actually put out a quick-on fight given that they have the shorties and the marshals. But what do they have dito, Ray na nag-invest na kaagad ang Talon Esports para sa Vandal, para sa Bulldog, at para sa Phantom pa nga nagagaling kay Jitboys.
And actually, it's worth it. Look at that. They actually ate the bait ngayon ng Talon. Akala nila magko-commit sa B kasi nga ng mid-take sila. Pero ngayon, iba nga ang nangyari. A pa rin ang kasagutan. Wise play ngayon dahil Patty's gonna plant it for the open para kitang-kita lahat ng kanyang teammates. But what can those frenzies, what can those shorties actually give? Kasi knowing tong Talon, nakita na nga natin yung kanilang mga barel. Medyo maghihirapan talaga ang Zeta on this retake.
Oh, they have to give it now or never. Alam talaga natin dito na may mga flashes, may dagger, para at may recon bolt din sila na magagamit para sa retake na ito. But konting, medyo mahihirapan talaga yung mga kuya natin here coming out from the side of Zeta. They could be a lot more productive as long as they get those exit frags. But for this time around, might as well die off to no one's hands because hindi nila hahayaan na makapag-farm ng orb too early ang side ng Talon dito ngayon. At mukhang napakagandang start din sa side ng Talon dito with their Ascent game.
Yan lang. 2-0. Good start for Talon once again, just like how they did nga nung nasa Haven tayo. And ito pa. Alam mo, if Talon gets this into a 2-0, I can definitely say na itong Zeta siguro may pagka hindi nila ni-recognize yung potential ng Talon. At ito pa, pinasok na nga nila si Garnets. Garnets has been one of the best duelists so far, especially nung lock-in, kung saan ako na-impress on how he played that raid. But then, it's too early to tell dahil nga itong Zeta, may mga pambawi naman na sila. Lalong-lalo na ngayon, kita mo naman, di ba? Naka-vandals na sila, naka-half armors na sila, which is technically ginagawa na ng mga Pacific teams eh. Di na sila nagpa-full armor.
Ito din ang risky place na magagawa nila. If makakuha talaga ng mga kalaban nyo, yung mga weapons nyo early on in this game, this can be quite difficult for them to sustain themselves, especially after getting objectives done. And speaking of objectives, mukhang ito na nga mid-control ang kinakailangan nilang lalabanan, lalo na may support system na may lalabas si Jet dito para sa kanilang control on towards market. Napakagandang support with that paranoia, but of course, pressure coming on from Cubby, coming on from Crow is not gonna be what they expected to have. Now, 4v5 kaagad, less flashers na maintindihan na natin at makikita coming out from the side of the defense dito ng Zeta Division. Reaggressing towards the market position. Garnet S na naman dito mag-lead on ng parade with that B-side push. Recon ball para sa isa. Si Last mga ang makakadetect. Nako! Na-scan ang tatlo! Hindi ba nga makakakuha ng isa? Si Z10 dito. Habang muna tayo sa backside, huwag mapipitas ng ganun lang kabilis. Especially ito sa side ng CT.
Oh, ang ganda ng Rico na yon. Pang long term. Pero nga lang, Garnets was able to shut him down. But then they're low on HP. It's up to Foxes to make it work. But still, he's playing it out with that. He gets the kill. 1v1 with the Great One. Alam pa ako nasa Sugar Zero. And will be able to get that clutch. Nice one, baby Foxy talaga. Pagdating sa Talon with that Red Bull clutch.
Napakaganda talaga. Kahit sabihin mo doon, napakagastos din sa side ng Talon or sabihin natin sa kanila dito with that continuous shutdown after putting out that amazing push. It's just unfortunate though that they could not fully follow through dito sa ginagawa ngayon ng Zeta Division. I mean, they had the upper hand there. They had the Vandals. And it's just how you use your weapons kung saan talaga mag-fall down or sabihin na saan talaga mag-rely yung outcome na iyon. Beautiful set of utilities coming out from the other side of the team. But, given time again, Zeta has been like putting their best here in this game so far.
We've been seeing lots of good plays from Talon on their attacking. Sobrang calm and coordinated. Ibig, tas ito pa, natalo ko sa Spectre Spray. Ling, yun talaga yung nakakapagtaka. Instead of having you that giving you an advantage, seems like it won't work. Pero ingat lang kayo, may cancer ng lipunan. Pangalan niya 10. With that Bucky, you gotta take care. Buti na lang kagad he has that, but still mag-audition sa harapan niya. But then there's just Crows with that trade-off. Pero ngayon, lahat ng utilities nilagay na nga sa kanila kagad. Pero si Patty pa nangunguna. Akala mo duelist, pero okay lang. Marami naman kasi siyang flashes na hawak-hawak. There's the paranoia kicking in. And Crow also goes with a flash, pero wala siyang makikita.
Ganda ng bawi nila kaagad after taking out this side na nagagaling para sa side ng Talon.
No way!
Kung saan nila kaya tatalhin ang kanilang sarili nila with just those pistols. Upgrades coming out here and there. Flash piece na kunang muna kuha dito ng side ng Zeta Division. Now, ganda ng swing. Sugar Zero being productive with that initial take. But you can definitely see him not ending out the straight quite too soon. Jit Boys on a 1v3 with the Phantom. Spraying towards the smoke can be enough. One bullet. Classic muna ang kanyang ilalabas. Inanticipate niya na magde-defuse ng spike at mukhang wala. Nagkahabulan sa kadiliman at mukhang mananife pa nga dito sa likod para sa kanya.
Gumaya, Tondo thinks sabi ng Zeta Division, and that's the Logitech thrifty round nga for Zeta. And ito pa, Ling, ang ganda na sana ng ginawa ng take pagdating sa Talon here in B-side. But then, sabi ko nga, masyado kayo naging lenient pagdating sa thrifties na yan. It can still take you off. Good Bucky plays pa din sa ginawa nila. Pero ito, nanaksak, ginaya na lang Tondo things ng Team Secret.
Lumalabas yung duong Pinoy. Kahit hindi mo talaga Pinoy. But you know, the pride definitely is gonna be coming in its way here para sa side ng Zeta because napakasakit yan. Na-knife ka na nga. Nasa'yo na yung Phantom. Nasa'yo na ang lahat. At binigay mo pa. At speaking of bigayan, hindi naman sila basta-basta nagbibigayan ng map control dito, especially here on mid. Odin na ang nailabas dito ni Sugar Zero. Hindi na nila hahayaan na makapag-rush man lang ang side dito ng Talon. Dash in para sa kaligtasan dito ng side ng Jet. But napakaganda ng Hunter's Fury does not connect to anyone just yet. Iilagan mo na ng Sova na magko-connect para kay Laz. Now, higa muna tayo dyan. Sir, hayaan natin ang rest of the team to actually frag out in this game. But one angle at a time muna tayo dito para kay Sugar Zero. ADS muna para sa isa. Can Jit Boys be inip enough or be patient enough at least sa larong to? Given that he has to back up, Recon Bolt, information being cancelled out. Ganda na sana dito ng kuha ng Talon Esports at mukhang shock dart. Hindi pa nga makakuha ng isa. Zeta, gandang answer back. Kuha sana ang push. But kitang-kita natin dito. Maka-close out ka agad yung Cubby short position at ang doors. Sugar Zero has the paranoia. Antayin na natin kung paano magre-react si Ten dito with that proper timing. But TP on top of Jen. Naku naman, gandang off angle. Makukuha muna ng omen na iyon. At Talon once again putting up with a great lead para sa unang half na ito.
4-1. Ang talino talaga ng calls ng Talon. At ito pa, alam ni Jit Boys kahit pa rin na-take off siya, the fact that there's Crows together with Foxes here sa site mismo, na protectionan nga nila, they were actually accurate with those trades. At lalabanan na nga lang sa tutok kanina, wala nang ganang nilabas na utilities Sabi ng Talon, sige, may advantage naman tayo pagdating doon. Pero ngayon, na Zeta na nga, they will still force this round. Sayang naman kasi, may kasama na nga kasi kagad na Blade Storm si Dep, but won't be able to. Nice read coming in from Talon. They know that this might be the takeoff by Zeta sa may A-main.
Sayang naman din. Ang ganda na sana ng information na makukuha nila, but it's just gonna be up to them if they actually want to re-aggress. Now that the turret is there, or not exactly turret, but the Cypher Traps is gonna be there. Tripwire para makakasigurado na walang magpa-flank dito sa side ng Talon Esports. They have the daggers. Information is gonna be kicking in para sa side ng Zeta Division. Now and or never na makakuha sila ng opportunity to pull out those pushes. But walang utilities sa kanilang magagamit dito sa sitwasyon na iyon. They have enough time though to even think about it, but they have to put out enough map presence para makakasigurado talaga dito ang side ng Zeta Esports na hindi sila basta-basta mag-rotate at magpo-provide ng backup given that Talon Esports is inclining more on towards this A-side push.
Oh, waiting game. Dep! Alam na lang kung nag-pre-fire siya. Alam na nga kagad. Tapos nilabas na din ni Patipan ang kanyang null command just to deny those utilities given to them by the guys of Zeta. Now, si Pats goes for a plant. Alam nila na talagang ito gagawin ng Zeta against them. Just maximize out the utilities and they won't be able to get that na jet diff kagad ngayon. Ang isang katulad ni Dep at mukhang yung control nga ng Talon nasa A-site na naman na hindi na ma-deny ng mga taga Zeta Division. Tapos si Foxes nang gugulo pa kagad. Oh, red flag nang gugulo.
Backstop na nga, nanggugulo pa. Ito ang hindi ko talaga gusto mangyayari sa side ng Zeta Division. Kailangan talaga nalang iiwasan yung mga ganyang tao, mga salot sa lipunan. Hindi ko na masasabi kung ano-ano ang kailangan pa niya magagawin. Well, nakakasama talaga dito sa side ng depensa ng Zeta Division. Now, Talon Esports, mukhang daan-daan muna tayo dyan, sir. Dahil konting wipeout muna dito sa depensa is gonna be completely enough for them to assert dominance inside the server.
Oh, God. Talon, good start talaga on their defending. Sabi nga din nila kanina, the Ascent map has been their problem. But then, do we also know that they are successful here? Konting ano lang guys, sa Throwback Thursday, nung kinalaban ng Talon Esports, yung Team Secret para makapunta sa finals against Paper Rex, tinalo nila ang Team Secret sa mismong dominating map nila, which is here in Ascent. And we can definitely see that once again. One lang yung naging solution nila to just atong talunin ng Team Secret. They used yung fade. Pero syempre, hindi na nga yan ngayon dahil iba na ang ihip ng hangin. And Zeta, as of now, they are losing the rounds where they need to stand strong.
Oh, stand strong and hold out the sights even stronger, given that Talon Esports have been given the opportunity to easily take away as much map control as they can. But sobrang open talaga. Wala silang kino-contest pa early on in this round. Because kitang-kita mo naman dito, ang pag-hold ng Zeta Division is gonna be opening up a lot of opportunities for Talon Esports to go in with these confident pushes. But Bladestorm dito, hawak muna ni Dep. And of course, the single angle mo kanya makakuha is possibly the A-short position, but hindi pa nga siya dito makakuha ng isa man lang.
May Hunter's Fury. Les, walang tinamaan talaga eh. Les, kahit trinay mo, wala talaga eh. Ginulo ka lang eh. Ginulo lang yung buhay mo. Literal, mas magaling talaga si Foxes. Hindi naman sa pagano, pero parang ganun na nga. Sayang lang yung ginamit niya doon. Pero to ang smart talaga ni Garnet. Kita mo, when it comes to just going up against Dep, yung mga gambles niya sa swing, sobrang worth it eh. Sobrang walang nangyayari kay Dep. At ngayon, kukuha na nga ng info. Walang nakita! This might be a huge game changer, but then the timing just hit different. At ngayon nga din, habang nanggugulo si Foxes on his start, kahit siya yung initiator, they are gonna be committing here sa site mismo. Pero gotta check onto the dice, gotta check onto the tail. You might see one, and later on, we have Tuger Zero. Kasama na nga kagad si Crow on that plant, on that protection itself sa A-site.
Hindi ko alam kung anong naririnig doon yung Zeta Division. Ang ganda ng rotation nila. Naagapan pa nila na mamamatay pa sa cut-off doon ni Foxy. And you know, the timings were just right. Utilities were on point as well. Ang ganda ng paranoid, the flash break at na-shutdown na nga nila dito ang push ni Garnet S. Alam nila na kung gaano ka-deadly tong jet player na ito. But kung tingnan mo yung replay, look at them just fully answering back on whatever they have, kung anong natitirang utilities para sa kanila. And they have been quite productive. And you know, quite online in this round alone. And you could definitely see us having hopes para sa kanila sa game na ito.
Ay, finally. Kahit manalo si Garnet sa swing, the tactical plays that Zeta has really gave them that big of an advantage. Tapos ito pa, sayang na sana yung ginawa ni Foxes sa mid eh. Kasi hindi nga na-execute ng Talon yung papuntang C-side, sa A-side. Pero I think they kind of like to change their mechanics pagdating sa strats dito mismo sa may A-take. Pero mukhang dito pa rin sila. Masaya pa rin tayo dito ngayon din. There's the one way. Pero he needs to win that. But he loses against Sugar Zero. Trap out lahat ang nasa A main. He takes down 2 kills. Kasama na nga din kagad si Dep. At lahat sila bumabagsak isa-isa. It's all up to Pot to make those clutch work. He still goes for a plant. Pero mukhang kitang-kita ka na nga. Huwag ka nang iilag ngayon din. Shinakdart ka pa nga ngayon. Talagang kamatayan mo na. And now, it's going to be 3-5. Kumakambak pa nga ngayon ang mga taga-Zeta Division. And we perfectly understand why they can do that. Because this is technically one of their best maps also.
The best maps for them to actually actually understand kung ano yung mga angles talaga for Talon to least expect them to be. This is like the perfect opportunity for them to put a little bit of creativeness in terms of rotations, the timings, and this positioning alone kung saan naka-caught off guard talaga kaagad ang Talon. Ganda na sana ng mga pasok, but nandun pa yung mga menace inside the site just holding down the fort, picking them off one by one. Ang ganda din ng pagresponde ng kanilang mga teammates. Zeta Division is looking quite stellar so far para sa larong to, but for Talon, mukhang time out muna dahil ang momentum is slowly shifting away and going into the favor dito ng Zeta.
Press kayo ng coach, oh.
Oh! Kalma lang, guys!
Kalma lang kayo! Yun lang it. Actually, yun lang talaga. Kumalma lang yung Talon. Be wiser pagdating sa map decisions. Kasi kita mo kagad, diba? Ina-aggressive nila yung site kahit may napitas na ang isa sa kanila. Talagang tinatry pa rin nila yung pwede nilang magawa, which is not good, diba? Pero slower takes lang siguro kasi that's how they were able to get those 5 rounds na sunod-sunod against Zeta Division. Pero cute na mga drawings sa mga ating fans dito. Big shoutouts to them. At syempre, sa mga nanonood sa amin ngayon sa Twitch, together sa Facebook, guys. Hello, hello, hello. So make sure to like and share our live stream.
Tama. Hindi lang basta yung broadcast ang supportan nyo, but also your favorite teams because it could be anyone's game right now. But looking at this performance, but you know, you cannot let your morale be destroyed kahit sabihin mo kung sino may konti kalamangan ngayon, which is ang Talon Esports ka naman. Unang mapang kanila makukuha, but here on Ascent, they're playing in Zeta territory right now, and it's looking quite deadly, especially when you're just trying to penetrate a site na mukhang naging imposible pa nga para sa side dito ng Talon.
Oy, ingat-ingat lang sa mga ganyan. Yung mga Odin na yan, brotatot yan. Sinawag brotatot yan. Pero syempre, sabi ng Talon, tama na nga. Ama ka na, hindi tayo nag-work sa A-site. Lipat naman tayo ng B ngayon. Pero syempre, hindi naman dapat ganun parate yung mga decision-making. But then, Laz still got the last hit against Jit Boys. And now, nasan na yung ibang miyembro ng Talon? Missing na naman sila. Got in translation. Next pa na-reveal na naman si Foxes. And they are just being heavily defeated by yung Odin ni Laz.
Nako, they know this play all too well. Alam talaga nila yung mga positioning. Alam talaga nila kung ano magiging ending at ano yung storyline talaga. That is gonna be here where we see Talon being read like a book in this game. B-split na naman ang kanyang pipilitin, but mukhang wala pa nga silang information na they could get out of it, especially when they have no recon bolt. Just a dagger, just the last one here coming up from the smoke. It's gonna be 10. Ako, turret lang ang kanilang magiging aware of, but it's still gonna be Odin here from last. Ganda ng backup here. Coming up for the Killjoy. Of course, responde muna tayo. Garnet S. Nako, with the Garnet could still be fully reliable, but the spike no longer in his possession. He has to take it, given that he only has 13 seconds left on the clock. Flashing para sa isa. Speed is gonna be quick on swing para kay Sugar Zero. At yun na nga, Zeta Division, kahit sabihin mo na pitas sila sa B, ang ganda ng kanilang follow-up doon.
Alam mo, yung recons nila here in Ascent, it was very creative and very unpredictable. They were actually waiting sa isang recon ni Laz, and yet hindi niya kagad pinop off. Instead, he got the perfect timing. At kanina pa yan, just to be able to take down Talon whenever they try to retake or shut them down. At ang pogi talaga ni Laz. Sorry.
Pogi na nga, magaling pa. Mataba pa yung utak kasi maraming lineup. Ano yun sabi mo?
Mga Sova main. Tignan mo si Fox is pogi. Si Laz, pogi.
Iba talaga mga initiator.
Yeah, they always initiate.
Magaling mag-first move.
Yeah, yan ang gusto ko sa mga
magaling mag-first move at may mga follow-up din. Gusto ko yung magaling mag-handle ng Odin. At yun na nga si Laz. Pinakita na naman.
Ang talaga no? Talagang grabe ang Odin na yan. Nilabas ang Odin niya. Kaso nga lang, si Ten, he tries to pop off through the smoke. Nakita na naman kagad si Foxes at mapapasabi na lang tong Talon. Kanina pa talaga yung Rico na yan. Parate tayong dinidisrespect crew right now. Rest spray through, pero wala naman manggagaling sa Talon. Instead, lahat sila magsasama-sama dito sa may pizza.
Magsasama-sama muna tayo. Mag-party muna tayo dun sa gilid. But there's gonna be a quick on party grouper na makuha dito na si Crow. Of course, the lineup do not exactly connect. Mukhang kinakailangan talaga ang Sheriff muna ni Jit Boys para tatapusin yung laban papuntang CT. Now, 10 has the lockdown, that's 20 HP. Ganda sana ng hold, pero mukhang dito na nga yung tropa natin. Nagtawag ng kuya natin na si Laz with the Odin once again para pipigilan itong push na ito. Now, 1v3 has the Sheriff. Jit Boys is still gonna be reliable with this aim, with minimal utilities that he actually has. And the lesser teammates that he actually has for his back. Napakasayang nun. At nakahabol na nga dito ang Zeta Division sa larong to. 5-5 na kagad ang scoreline, Ray. At what is happening to Talon right now?
TBH, nakaka-tilt yung Odin na yan sobrang nakaka-tilt yung ginagawa nila ngayon. And yet, they can't come up with a greater solution just to take out Zeta. And look at this, Zeta is counting it. 5-5 na nga tayo ngayon. Kung nakakuha sana yung Talon ng advantage pa, kahit 7-5, malaki nga yung advantage just to get this into a 2-0, but then hindi pa tapos ang Zeta Alam naman natin na yung creativity talaga nila dito sa map sobrang maganda at yun yung something na kailangan kunin ng Talon or else it might be too late for them.
Oh, might be too late for them to actually adjust sa ginagawa nila because B-side pa rin ang kanilang pinipilit na kukunin dito, Rere. Delikado, alam nila may Odin dyan, alam talaga nila na may Killjoy din. The setups are gonna be connecting as well as, are gonna be detecting them as well as soon as they push out on towards market. But mukhang delikado pa rin sa sitwasyon nila to stay in market. Sooner or later, Zeta Division will have them figured out. Especially, nandito si Crow with that dagger that could detect them and their position, but it's gonna be cancel out quite too soon. Storm Grenade muna para makapag-delay man lang ng push. 40 seconds left on the clock here sa side ng Talon. They have to push with the recon ball still gonna be there. Information kicking in for sure, but Hunter's Fury muna tayo dito galing sa B-main. Last, one angle muna at a time, but si Garnet S with the Vandal is gonna be quick on with his trigger there. And the shots that can be taking out two in the process.
Finally, hinarap na nila yung biggest problem nila, which is going to be yung Odin nga. Tapos ngayon, binate pa kagad ni Sugar Zero yung kanyang teammate at magagasolinahan nga na kagad ngayon si Crow. But all of them are revealed now. Alam na ng Talon yung next na magiging kasagutan. And now there's the knife also being pulled off. Patipan, he takes out of it at ilalaban pa rin niya. Pero lako, nandiyan na nga yung crossfire na nag-work sa Talon. Good take to. Hindi na dapat sila matakot sa Odin. Kailangan talaga nilang harapan sa tutok at nangyari nga to.
Harapan sa tutok at yung mga trade-offs din na nakukuha nila dito. But you know, it's not exactly happening. Sapat na daw ang isang bullet galing kay Garnet S para i-eliminate yung problem, which is the Odin player na si Laz. Ang gandang entry at ang gandang impact na nabibigay niya sa kanyang team. A completely reliable jet player at makita mo naman how Talon just making all of the right decisions sa pagpasok sa kanya sa mapang Ascent.
Uy. Right decision.
Right decision.
Finally! Di natin magawa yan. Dati. Ngayon, nag-improve. May character development na po sa amin ni Ling ngayon. Sana all. Pero sana all talaga ngayon kay Lads ko. Meron siya makikita isa. Nakita nga niya. Pero sakto, nag-TP out na nga kagad si Cross with his ultimate. Tries to take off kung meron. Pero wala. Kumuha lang siya ngayon ng information. Pero ang ganda kagad ang mga posisyon ng Zeta Division
Ganda talaga. And speaking of that, it's just the crossfire talaga na kailangan babasagin muna dito ng Talon Esports. Now they're playing in for the waiting game. Nag-aantay sa kanila na may maiinip na magpipik man lang dito sa side ng Zeta. Tong Odin talaga to, wala kang maririnig na footage kung nagpupush man lang inyong mga kalaban. But you know, time again, we could definitely rely on the turret para makakasigurado na walang mag-push para sa speed position. Dahan-dahan muna, nanahimik muna tayo dito sa side ng Talon. They have to put on a quick on explosive play na makakancel out pa nga with that dagger. Naku naman, Cruz makakalason inside the smoke, but there's a shorty here coming out from the KO. Napaka-chaotic ng round na ito. Napakagandang position, napakagandang lason man lang na makakuha ng KO. But si Jit Boys, gandang follow-up, gandang refrag. Si Tan na naman dito ang magiging left alone on towards the site with just his Vandal. Ano naman, lockdown, pwede mo magagamit kuya, but mukhang aabangan natin muna ang rotation coming out from your teammates! Talon naman! Tumatalon, papuntang backside. Foxy, pipilitin ang plant, but kita mo naman dito, Zeta Division dividing the rest of the team. Coming out from Talon! Nako, wallbang para sa isa. Patifan down to 28 HP. 1v2. Naku, napakasayang at napaka-close ng round na iyon. 6-6 na kaagad ang close-up ng matchup na ito.
Mapapa-empty ka na lang kagad. Walang nag-check ng stairs. Hindi masyado silang na-excite to actually go for that plant. Pero syempre, i-explain pa yan as we pass it on to our panel.
Maraming salamat, Ling and Ray. So, I wanted to say this started off very, very strong for Talon here, but it looks like Zeta just hunkered down in defense, especially here on B side, and just really like locked it down.
I mean, just to go with the numbers alone, kanina ay sinabi ko balance sila with average scores per side is 6-6. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a very bold prediction na handa akong mali. I think this one's gonna be ending at like
hugas kamay naman.
Hugas kamay agad eh. I think this is gonna go at a 13-11 if Zeta keeps up this pace. Pero yung issue lang dyan is when, you know, Raf's been saying this, yung Cypher pick from Talon, hindi siya, we don't see it as much yet as attacker, pero like going into defenders, yeah, I think that's where, dyan talaga makikita yung difference.
Actually, natutuwa talaga ako sa interaction between Talon and Zeta because Zeta know that despite the Cypher pick, Talon does not have a hard initiation tool outside of Patty. So, in turn, Talon have to play hyper compact. Usually, again, the common consensus is if you pick Cypher over Killjoy, then you're gonna be a little more mobile, a little more active throughout the map kasi hindi ka bound sa range ng turret, ng alarm bot mo. But like I mentioned, I feel like if I believe it's Jitboy's on the Cypher. If he plays his cards right, then I think this is going to be a bit of a nightmare game for depth, especially on the B side. But Talon, as long as they keep rotating, which is the weak side, I think they have a really good chance of closing this one out.
Exactly, and I think, you know, I agree with the Cypher pick. It definitely was something that transitions well over to the second half. So this does look a little, you know, it could be Talon favorite in terms of team comp, but Zeta is definitely doing good in terms of adjustment. So we'll just have to see what happens in this next half. So we'll be passing it off to our casters.
Thank you, Rebby, together with Juicy and Rafa. Dahil ngayon, nandito na nga muli tayo sa ating ascent second half between Talon together with Zeta. Sa mga kakatuning pa nga lang, guys, Talon nga ang nakakuha ng first map natin, which was in Haven, na map pick nga din nila. Pero to, game changer talaga. The first 2-round lead is very important. But then, ang Talon, when you have that Cypher, will it actually be the game changer to take over itong Zeta sa map pick nila?
Oh, napakatahimik ng laban na ito, Rere. Hindi siya tulad ng ginagawa ng Talon a while ago na pasok ng pasok muna dito sa side. But speaking of that, mukhang narinig na kaagad yung mga casters. Gusto nga nila, labasin mo na yung labanan kaagad dito sa side ng Zeta. Now, B-side, napakabukas dito. Madaling papasukan man lang at mukhang dito natin maaabangan kung kano pa talaga maging epektibo ang mga filler traps na ginagawa ngayon ng Talon sa kanila.
Ako, alam na yung information. Nakita na ni Dep lahat. He will try to succeed to get 1 kill at least, but then last, pinag-audition lang. There's a trade-off. Gonna be 2v3. Low on HP si Crows together with Patipan. Pero medyo mahihirapan talaga sila upon this retake dahil talagang i-spam lang sila ng mga classic na yan.
Interested ako kung anong gagamitin nila. Nag-utilities muna para makakatulong dito para sa side ni Patipan. Napagandang smoke, but it's just quite unfortunate na low on HP sila doon. Ray at mukhang medyo may konting kahirapan, but then again, he can still rely on Zeta to fully maximize kung ano ang kanilang, kung anong, whatever they're gonna be going up against.
This is pretty harsh sa Talon kung nawalan sila ng momentum under defending. But all things considered nga, yan yung meron kapag may utilities ka ni Killjoy, di ba? Yung mga nanoswarms na yan, it will also be like a bomb na talagang matitake over nila. At yun nga rason, bakit nabawasan kagad si Foxes? Pero let's wait. Kasi yung Zeta kanina, medyo talagang ang bagal nila maglaro. Pero ngayon, parang online na yung mga anime natin na players.
Oh, at medyo kinakailangan din nila magmadali. Itong wala nang filler episode. Kailangan rekta kaagad makikita natin kung ano ba talaga yung magiging plot na gustong gagawin ng Zeta Division para dito sa depensa ng Talon. At mukhang dito ko na nga, napakasayang talaga na detect kaagad sila kaagad dito ng CCTV camera setup ni Jet Boys. And this is where we put ourselves. Just, you know, curating as much as information para dito sa side ng Zeta Division. kung saang site ba sila muna magpo-push. Medyo delikado, nagburn muna tayo dito ng time at mukhang hindi pa nga sila makakapag-decide fully given that the Spike is nowhere near any commitments sa larong to.
Nako, nananahimik lang ngayon ang Zeta, waiting for that one piece to get ang Talon sa round na ito. Pero waiting pa rin naman, konting disiplina. Pero 3-stack ng Talon here in B-side. Will it actually work? Si Dep, he tries to be aggressive. May na-reveal nga na isa pero wala pang magpupush through. Papupuntahin siya ngayon. It won't work against them. And now he tries to get that. There's a trade-off from Foxes. Only Kraus na lang together with Patty sa isang iglap.
Isang iglap, isang malabilis na slap makuha kaagad nila itong site na ito. It's all gonna be left in the hands na naman dito para sa side ni Cruz at Patifan na may tatlong smoke sila na magagamit. But the question is, are they willing to commit to it? Are they willing to commit enough creds para sa round na ito para makapagkuha man lang enough damage para sa ekonomiya dito sa side ng Zeta? Nakuha sana ng push, madedetect agad sila dito. And the most that they could actually do is get out as much as they can. Damage in their economy with these exit frags, but it's just not enough just yet. Zeta just had enough angles and had enough rounds and the time as well para sa round na ito.
Ling, if Zeta on this round 15, sila ang mananalo, alam mo na kung malakas ang chance na pupunta nga tayo sa third map. But let's wait and see because Talon right now, they have the advantage na pagdating sa mga barrel. But then, kita mo naman, di ba? Sobrang takot sila to keep up with those fights dahil nga wala silang magaan na barrel kanina. Pero ngayon, ano nga ba yung magiging game changer? Because itong Talon, if they finally have those Vandals, they might be giving themselves a great chance. Foxes, he already knows where they are coming from. At kahit man lang may setup galing kay Jit Boys, it's not gonna be worth it. Pero may isa pa lang na nasa site mismo at kitang-kita na niya lahat ng pwestuhan ng mga taga-Talon pero wala pa rin napipitas but finally Tana gets it against Patipan.
Oh, they definitely have to get enough frags as much as possible dito. Especially na makita natin ang push kagad dito ng Zeta Division. Already swarming their way towards B side. No spike being planted just yet. Nag-aabang talaga tayo dito ang window of opportunity na makakuha man lang ng isa pang impact frag ang Talon Esports. But lasso na angle muna tayo dito on towards Logs position ng gagaling para kay Laz. 2 HP mo kanyang lalabanan muna dito. But mukhang antay natin dito the rotations and the backup coming in from the side of Talon. Gandang paranoia coming into play. Sugar Zero is gonna be off the board just yet. Down to 70 HP. Has to go up against Jit Boys. That's gonna be full on health. Now, Bulldog against the Phantom. You can definitely see the smoke stuff definitely gonna be there to hold off everyone on the board. Nako, si Crow mukhang matadali pa nga. Down to 6 bullets. At Talon Esports answering back with this Wolfsland na ginagawa sa kanila dito ng Zeta. What a wallbang there coming on from Jit Boys. Ita buhay na buhay pa. Dashing on in papuntang sa backside. Mukhang maghahabol pa nga tayo dito, Talon Esports. Enough time for the defuse and no, I actually spoke too soon.
No.
Does he have enough time?
Yes!
Yun naman.
Calculated. Kaso grabe ang bagal ng retake na yun. It was like quite problematic for the both teams. Tapos ito pa, kung hindi pa nila kagad tinap yun, kung di nila nakuha kagad ang isang katulad ni Dep, that could have went into the hands of Zeta. Pero buti na lang, nag-dash out kasi siya, hinabo na lang siya kagad ni Foxes, and still, it's a big round win for Talon. But this is gonna be the next crucial statement kasi full buy na to ng Zeta. If they get the lead, this might be hard sa Talon kasi wala silang economy for the next round.
Oh, really difficult and especially if you're trying to gather information here para sa mga tinatangkang pushes na ginagawa ng Zeta Division so far. Now, inclining more on towards the A side push and of course, they have not given any sign of map control or map presence man lang nang gagaling dito sa attacking side. Dahan-dahan muna tayo at mananahimik na naman tayo dito muna sa mapa. But kung tutuusin, kung itong binabalak nilang kukunin, they still have to deal with the double flashes that they have to go up against, especially when they have to go for the objective, which is A.
Naghihintay ang Talon ngayon ng pick-offs pero alam na nila lahat na nasa site mismo and they have only one na ultimate. And that's going to be coming from Jit Boys. Open na nga kagad ngayon yung door side. Pero itong retake ng Talon, sobra, sabi ko nga, very crucial. Pero nga lang, there's the shock darts. Titiisin ni Dep. Okay lang, magaling ako magtiis. Pero alam nga nila kung nasan isa. Sinabayan na nga kagad ng Panuorin. They try to take a fun, but they are not checking the corners at all. They want to get it. Pero buti na lang, mapupull off na nga kagad yung revelation kung nasa na mga miyembro ng Zeta. But still, it's so slow pace. Tatlo na lang kagad natitira sa Talon, but time is ticking. They need to take down Crow. And finally, it's gonna work in. At pupuntahan na nga sila kagad. But then, na-half na nga nila ngayon. Nagdedali na lang kagad ng time. Pero nga lang, that's just gonna be it for Laz. But then, Jit Boys, he needs to continue to defuse. And now, Talon will be able to get this round win pa rin.
Ang raming ganap sa site, sa labas ng site, everywhere. It's gonna be a party here. Coming out from both sides, nagkakasagutan in every angle. And ang ganda na sana ng kanilang kuha doon ng Zeta Division. But Talon just found some sort of organization sa chaos na binibigay sa kanila ng Zeta Division. Ang ganda ng pulspan sana nila doon. Ganda ng Counter's Fury. But it's just that he was just too busy, too occupied. Si Laz, na alam na talaga niya na may defuse na nangyayari, could not do anything.
Napapigil. Stop, stop, stop. Sabi ng Talon. Alam mo, yun pag nagtiping na yung spike nung magde-detonate, kinakabahan na ako for Talon. But it seems like they are actually taking their, honeymoon phase to take lang yung mga retakes nila. At okay naman, di ba? Mas calm and composed naman talaga yung kailangan nila instead ng nagmamadali.
Oh, hindi mo kailangan madaliin eh. Kasi ang hirap ng pipilitin mo yung pacing na alam talaga natin na kayang pipigilan ng Zeta Division para sa kanila. In a way, we cannot exactly see a dominating performance because no one exactly wants to submit sa larong to. Lalaban sila kung lalaban at kinakailangan talaga nila ipakita kung hanggat saan nila makakaya ang kanilang sarili. And speaking of that, they're pushing every limit out there in actually taking at least a side push in this game.
Uy! Masyado kayo nagmamadali, Zeta, but then Foxes loses the duels. Pero nga lang, kailangan nyo abangan na trap out na ang mga miyembros ng Talon, pero Kraus still goes for the top. Kailangan pa rin nila mag-ingat. It's still a 3v3. Garnets, wala pa rin mangyayari, pero pwede siya mag-dash out. Pero nga lang, as they watch through the flank, alam na nila kagad yung idea kung saan manggagaling sila. As no more recons available, they can only utilize the smokes, and now they are waiting already for that Q. Pero may nakaabang na nga din kagad na Bladestorm na manggagaling mula kay Dep. Pero nga lang, makuha niya na kagad to. And it's gonna be a 2v1 with only Garnet trying to secure this win against Zeta. He gets the top. Alam na nga din niya kung saan manggagaling isang miyembro. Pero syempre, may pa-lineup ngayon. Ang isang katulad ni Mr. Laz. Malasaski ang galawan. Nakaabang! He still gets it straight! And still, Zeta will be able to win this round.
Dapat nice one, baby. Ako real quick dun. In my head, napakaganda dun ng delaying tactics ni Laz. Recon Bolt para sa isa at mukhang mind games lang talaga yung labanan dito sa larong Valorant na ito. Kanta sana ng mga TP plays na nakikita natin. Oh my God, the Omen was there. Sugars there, had everything there. But, you know, everyone else just put out amazing micro plays sa larong to, and you can definitely see in those milliseconds na nangyayari sa larong to is where everything goes down.
Oh, outsmarted na naman ngayon, pero may isang gustong pamitas ang pangalan niya Garnet. He finally knows nasaan yung isa pa, pero huwag ka masyado maging excited. Nako, yung mga talagang blades na, he still got it. 3v3, it's still winnable for the side of Talon, and they'll be able to get those guns as much as possible. Ang laki ng tiwala nila sa isa't isa na hindi kayang bigay ng jowa ko minsan, pero buti na lang sa Talon talaga, kailangan nila to. Hindi, joke lang yan, ha?
Kinakailangan talaga natin makinig ko anong kinakailangan din, sabi ni Ray Ray. Konting communication is the key nga pala dito sa side ng Talon. Napakagandang pag-respond din nila and reacting quite too quickly. As soon as they found out that mid position and B side completely open at nakuha na kaagad ng Zeta Division. All they have to do is multiply. Everything has to add up in this game, especially here for the shots to connect para sa side ni Garnet S. Has to make on a quick entry papuntang side. Isa lang kinakailangan nyong i-eliminate. Si Tense na nga yun, papuntang backside. It takes two to tango and one for bullet to him to even eliminate more players here. Coming out from the side ng Talon. Napakagandang recon sana makakuha mo. Sino dati, kuya? But you know, Foxy, reliable for the clutch. Gandang line na papuntang sa side, but mukhang hindi pa nga siya magkakaroon ng enough time para sa retake at defuse na ito.
Walang nangyari sa side ng Talon when they tried on their thrifty round, which is promising, but then it didn't work against Zeta. Tapos ito pa si Ten, when you need him the most talaga, dun siya lalo nagpa-pop off. Pero nga lang, sabi ko nga, there's just kind of like itong Talon, nagaganda na ng form sana nila. Pero biglang nawawala na naman yung tuning na kailangan yung abangan sa kanila. And Zeta nga, they are calm and composed at the same time. Ang gaganda talaga ng banters between Talon and Zeta Division, especially here in Ascent. This is very different compared on what we've seen sa May Haven.
They have definitely brought on their A-game dito sa larong to, Riri, because hindi nila hahayaan palalampasin yung oportunidad para makapagkuha man lang ng isang series, and especially this is the perfect time for them to even do so. Giving out this game against like the side ng Zeta puts them on towards the third map, which is not exactly the most ideal outcome na gusto nating makukuha, given that Talon has put out an amazing performance in the entire tournament here sa Pacific League, and putting out your best para sa larong to and still not gonna be enough. That's gonna be damaging their morale as a team.
Kakasira talaga, Link. Tapos pag nag-split pa tayo, what could possibly go wrong, di ba? Sa parehas na teams. Kasi sa split, syempre, mapa yan ng mga ng Hapon, di ba? Based sa Japan yan. Pero syempre yung Talon, wait lang guys, maybe they still have something in store when they pulled out that triple duelist, di ba? Pero ngayon, hindi pa naman tapos ang mundo sa Talon. They are still quite confident they can take this. But then, can they actually do that? Lahat sila nag-stack sa may B at may mga nag-aabang lang. Don't get too aggressive! But then, that's just pretty crucial. There's the trade-off already Ling, na nanggagaling sa parehas sa teams. Maganda na sana yun. Pero nga lang, you pulled out si Dep, you pulled out Patty, parehas na nagpa-frag sa parehas sa teams. Pero tingnan natin paano pa ma-outsmart ng Zeta ang Talon.
It's a worth it trade-off din para sa side dito ng Talon to. Kahit sabihin mo, wala si Patty, completely reliable pa rin ang rest of the team in playing out retakes or holding off those sides. But to even imagine, Zeta Division, mukhang mahirapan talaga sila para makapagpasok man ng side, given that wala silang duelist dito, Riri. Mahirapan talaga to have that sort of mobility, to have that sort of speed para makapagpasok naman to fully penetrate and create space for the rest of the squad. Dahan-dahan muna tayo dito, kuha muna ng informasyon kung saan ba talaga yung setups ng Cypher, dahil yun mo nila ang kailangan nilang iiwasan for this time around. But they don't exactly have the luxury of that time here. Coming out from the attacking side, Zeta Division has to hit the side now or never and get the frags along the way.
Oh, si Crows. Mga Hanser! Pero nakita, but then Foxes is up there for his Hunter's Fury. He spots off one, goes already for the detection kung nasaan ang last two members ngayon ng Zeta. And finally, they'll be able to see it. Garnet is on that operator. Pero nga lang, let's not forget, meron pa kagad recon ng parehas na teams, but it's going to be the Talon talaga kung kaya ba nilang ma-retake ito ng maayos. Shock darts wala dyan guys, parehas silang nasa hell. Kailangan nila kunin yung information na needed talaga nila. And there's the lineup, he spots out one at alam na kagad ni Garnet kung ilan yan, but will he be able to clutch it? No! Natalo pa sila doon! And now Zeta finally gets this lead. Naku po, this might be dangerous for Talon kasi they don't have enough economy. And this might be a match point na sa Zeta.
Oh, they have completely outsmarted them. Ano yung pasok na yun? Ano yung mga utilities na tinatapon sa kanila ng Talon Esports? Inilagan lang nila, and that was just as easy as it goes talaga sa side ng Zeta to just march on in on the side na wala na silang iisipin pa. Kahit sabihin mong dahan-dahan lang yun, it's just a slow tactical approach that they have put out inside this game that could put Talon into a really dangerous spot in this game. Down to eco positions na naman tayo dito guys, at mukhang this is not how we want this game to go. Especially when we see Patifan just doing the best he can to even support his team.
Ang lamig sa Talon side. Hirap talaga sila mag-retake here in Ascent. But then, kita mo naman, ang Zeta nga, even if wala si Dep, they are still, the fundamentals are still there as a team. They remain intact talaga. Ang ganda nung ginawa na nag-settle na lang sila for that hell position. Pero waiting pa rin sila. Kanina mo pa kasing aggressive tong Talon. They still try and try. Hindi na nga nag-work. At kita mo yung Zeta, yung disiplina na lang just to wait for them. Diba? Para makapitas.
At ang ganda din ng kanilang mga backup plan na ginagawa dito ng Zeta. Kasi alam talaga na they're not gonna be providing any single putas at all sa kanilang attacking side na mapaflank sila ng basta-basta. Everyone has been playing this quite too carefully and anticipating the worst outcomes that there is. Plan A, Plan B, up to Z ang nagagawa nila. And this is where we see a team well prepared against this level of competition. That is gonna be Talon Esports with their ecos, with everything they have on towards their hands. Zeta Division is going to be putting out quite a performance, especially with this B-side execute, but they're not going to be over just yet. Si Def dito ay makakuha pa lang ng 4K at putting their team to a match point.
Grabe naman kayo, Zeta. Ang bilis talaga, mala-anime talaga tuloy. God bless me. Talagang asaya. Mainit na nga. Meron ka pang halong bonus pagdating sa iyong codes. Pero anyway, this is just really good. You've seen the tries from Talon. Okay naman. Pero talagang pagdating sa guns kasi ang laki ng advantage ng Zeta. At ngayon, match point na nga sila. Akala mo siya yung duelist pero initiator lang yan. At ngayon, pagdating sa Talon, okay, sabi ni Fox, ako naman ang maglalabas ng Odin.
Lalabas talaga ng Odin at lalabas din talaga ng operator. Ito ang Talon muna ngayon. Kinakailangan talaga nila yung initial peaks na makukuha ni Garnet S. I want to see how he's going to be productive with this incredibly expensive investment na nagagawa niya para sa larong to. But for Zeta Division, completely adjusting to the information that they've got. Now the Jet has enough map control on towards that A-long pressure, but then again, parang give and take muna tayo dito sa map control.
Uy, ganda na flash pagdating kay Patipan. Mala kabilang bang na may go yung ginawa niya. Diba talagang akala mo, may kita mo na si Papa J. Pero ang laki na kagad ng ginawang advantage ng Talon and they need to keep up because it's still 10, Laz and Sugar Zero we are talking about. Very smart yan. Pagdating sa maximizing out their utilities. At naku po, sinimulan pa ni Patipan. There's already the paranoia coming in. Hindi na lang makita kung nasaan sila through the ecoms at pwede pa ngang makanser ng lipunan ang isang katulad ni Curls.
Siyempre, abang muna tayo dito, Garnetes! Pangalawang beses na yun na hindi nakakatama at doon na nga magtatapos ang era mo. Jet Boys, ako naman, decided to join in the action at Talon Esports. Lumalaban pa! Ang ganda na kanilang backup and you gotta give it up there for Patifan. Just putting out an initial impact para sa larong to. Ganda ng flash peaks, but the rest of the team has been trying to react to that so far. Well-deserved replay. Ganda naman nun, sir.
Oo nga sana all. Yung flash talaga, alam mong aabot ka. Pero ang smart nito, winnable pa to sa side ng Zeta. If that was like a 1v1, diba? Pero syempre, wala na silang choice ngayon. Di naman nila in-expect, di naman nila alam yung information ni Patipan. 3 rounds for Talon, pero kita mo naman sa Zeta, 4 out of 5 ultimates are prepared just to take over etong Talon and confirm this map against them.
All they have to do talaga dito, Ray, is to get those initial frags. And we cannot just fully rely on Patifan to consistently perform in this game because everyone has their own assignment on, putting down or for putting a hold down para sa mga sites na ito. But Zeta Division, medyo nag-aalanganin pa nga sila dito kung ano ba talagang kukunin nilang first. Sino ba talaga ang kanilang unang pipitasin at kung anong site pa talaga kanila ang kukunin. And speaking of that, Patifan might actually get the upper hand here, especially that you're going to be fully anticipating and playing for that Cypher setups on towards B. Talon, nako naman sir, wag muna tayo mag-iinip, aabangan muna natin dito ang side ng Zeta Division na magpupush, na magkakamali! At yun na nga, nakuha na ni Patiman ang kanyang opening that he needs. Put out that suppression para sa lahat. At mukhang it's a matter of time for him to actually wipe out the entire server. And you could definitely see him perform and step up for the rest of the team as Talon definitely needs.
Ang talino ni Patipan doon. After getting that one hit, nag-pull out kagad siya ng Nalcomad at alam niya pupuntahan din siya. Pero talagang napaback out just because of that fragment enabling him to disable yung isang miyembro nga ng Zeta Division and finally taking down Dep. Delayed na delayed ang Zeta ngayon. Wala na rin sila kagad oras knowing it's only Sugar Zero together with Laz and they will just be opting for that save. Hindi pa tapos ang ascent map natin dahil mukhang naging comfortable ng Talon when it comes to reading out ang Zeta Zeta on their attacking side.
And especially talaga nila, hinahayaan talaga nila yung si Patipan to make his plays happen in this game, which is quite amazing talaga that they have to let these type of initiatives coming out from these individual players to step up when the team needs him to be. And this type of performance is definitely what you could expect from a previous students in that previous game to even put out sa mapa here on Ascent. Napakaganda exercise for his individual fundamentals, but for the rest of the team to completely rely on him, that is not exactly what we want to happen. Talon has to put out another wild card here, has to put out another play para makakasigurado that it is not just gonna be a Patipan show para sa larong to.
Finally, binock off na nila si Patipan. They're waiting for him to get the kill, but still, he will be denying them! Puti itong mga Zeta at a disadvantage. Pero ngayon, may tinatry si Crow para makapitas ng isa. Pero nga lang nakatingin na kakagad si Patipan. He gets the second frag. Pero ngayon, finish na nila. Tapos ngayon sila medyo reckless and on using that counter's fury, but then tries to save out one more. Pero syempre, anong laban mo sa Odin na yan? At si Laz na lang kagad ang natitira sa isang iglap.
Grabe, ganun lang yun real quick. Iba talagang difference na ma-put out natin, especially when Talon Esports just wants to put this game up to the pace that they're exactly comfortable with. And we got definitely see the rest of the team just wanting to keep it this way. Keep it in a way na hindi sila basta-basta napupitas. Keep it in a way na hindi sila basta-basta mapapasukan yung mga sites nila. And you can definitely see how much of utility na nagagamit nila doon. And you know, ganda talaga ng mga pag-coordinate nila sa isa't isa na hindi sila basta-basta makukuha dito ng Zeta Division.
Naku po, mukhang may Ray Sling Pero I'm not gonna be surprised if Talon wins this with a comeback. There's just a lot of errors aside ng Zeta. Pero isa lang talaga ang nagpapanalo sa Talon, and that is Patipan getting those anchors, getting those first frags very quick. At hindi siya takot makipag-duel, diba? Pero kasi ang Zeta naman, wala silang kailangan pilitin ngayon Talagang kailangan nila i-takedown si Patipan or else he will be the problem on the latter parts of a certain round. Pero ngayon nga, last risk for Zeta. They lose this. Naku po, OT tayo, it might be a greater comeback sa side ng Talon.
A greater comeback, pero what else can you expect from these great players talaga na naglalaban pa rin up until the end, which is not over just yet, guys. Pipilitin talaga nila itong overtime na ito, but you even imagine what is going through the heads of Zeta Division right now. Siguro, they have to think about how to take out Patipan, but it's just so hard na mag-hyper-focus lang talaga sila sa isang player when the rest of the squad is quite talented as well, and posible pa nga sila doon na maka-caught off guard na may mga iba pa silang mababato sa kalaban nila.
Tatandaan natin itong mga members ng Talon, almost all of them are already experienced, almost 3 years in the scene of Valorant. So it's not talaga impossible to outplay then a great team such as Zeta. Garnet ngayon, papakitaan niya, pero nga lang na timingan, he wasn't able to pre-fire it. He just tries, kung meron lang, if he's lucky enough, pero they will be bailing out. Nag-iba sila ng posisyon ngayon, they put Patty sa mid, pero nga lang may mababawas ba ngayon si Kraus? He needs to get out or else siya magiging problema. Pops off the smoke, goes with a good paranoia nga ba? Yep, he will be able to take down Depth. No, it's actually gonna be whiffing and it's gonna be a 4v3. Jit Boys, kailangan na kumuha ng kill para makakuha ng impormasyon kung nasaan yung remaining members ng Zeta Division.
But they needed that smoke, really. Ang ganda na sana makukuha nila doon para kay Crows. And of course naman for Zeta Division, really has to solidify this post front na magagawa nila against Talon. Information kicking in for sure na makakuha nila, but it's just a matter of time for them to fully react to it. Ganda sana ng pag-anticipate ng flash breaks dito nagagaling all the way towards held position. But si Depth na nag-aabang, Depth na magmimintis, Depth na mamapatay mga dito ni Cardenas. Operators coming into play. Si Patipan na naman dito para sa kanyang refrag. Isang mabilisang 2v3. Nako naman, Patipan, ganda ng flash break. Kita mo naman naglalanap pa sa gilid ng kuhin natin si Laz. At hindi ba recover time pa nga! Talon Esports! Ang ganda na pinakita!
Si Jade Boys, sabi niya, talagang pinapaulanan na ako ng bala. I-risk ko kagad yung aking shorty just to be able to get the information kung saan lahat ng members ng Zeta. And Zeta, yung iba sa kanila, tumakbo na papuntang winery. But then that will give you a disadvantage because we still have 3 members left for Talon. And they were able to defuse it. Si Garnet, hindi talaga siya marunong mag-let go. Talagang pinanindigan niya. Commit kung commit. At sabi nga nila, fake don't pros.
Fakes don't pro talaga. Fakes don't pro talaga at hindi talaga natin hindi talaga tayo masu-surprise on how confident these players are to continually hold on, not just on this fight, but para sa larong ito. Talon Esports fighting for their life inside this game, putting out a quick on comeback possibly, or could this be a comeback para sa overtime na malalaro ngayon ng Zeta Division against them. Now it's now or never na talaga ito. Ito na talaga, final na ito. Sana naman, Zeta Division, kung kaya nyong makakuha ng ganung kalaking lead against your enemies, now is the time for you to prove that you're the best team, or you gotta say, the better place, or having the better place inside the server.
That was a 9-12. Remember, that was a 9-12. Talon, parating shaky. But then, naghihingalo sila. It was always a 50-50. Tapos kanina, crucial pa, medyo malaking error ni Cross. Pero he tried. Okay naman kagad. Pero buti na lang, yung naging sagot nga is yung neural theft ni Jit Boys na ginamit nga niya. Pero tignan natin, magba-breakdown ba itong Zeta on their everlasting momentum? Or itong Talon nga ba, biglang pinahabol lang naman talaga sila ng Zeta. Let's see ngayon on their attacking, which is pretty well for them. Pero waiting lang sila ngayon. Disiplina pa rin. Kalmado pa rin dapat ang Talon Esports.
Oh, kalmado talaga, especially if they're continually trying to play down to the last minute dito. With the executions coming in from Talon Esports, they really have to deal with this market crossfire na ginagawa sa kanila kayo ng Zeta Division. Konting aggression galing kay Crow all the way from Cubby. And of course, down to lower mid position. Good answer back coming in from Zeta, but Talon Esports has no possession of the spike any longer. Si Foxy could actually use the shock darts. Recon Bolt, kinakailangan talaga niyang aabangan para maging productive itong mga pushes at mga angles at para makakagiba ng crossfire dito ng Zeta Division. Lower market position. Line up muna sa Gede. Si Las ay magkakamali sa kanyang pagbibig. At si Jit Boys pa nga dito, may CCTV, may backup, may spray down. At mga si Sugar Zero pa nga ang magtatapos sa kanila lahat on fountain position.
Huwag kayong excited, Talon, pero okay na sana yung ginawa nila. Ang ganda, the recon. Tapos alam nilang magdo-double swing sa kanila. Pero nga lang, yung mga crucial moments, si Sugar Zero talaga, he's alive and kicking. There's just a greater attempts. Pero let's see, match point na nga kagad sa isang iglap for Zeta. But Talon, uunahan ba nila to or hindi?
Uunahan talaga natin, or mag-uunahan muna sila dito hanggang sa huli. It's gonna be a race who's gonna be finishing out this game up to 14. But Zeta already with the match point once again. But I've seen this type of game so far. Kanina sila may kalamangan, but Talon, unti-unti na lang nilalabas talaga nila kanilang tunay na lakas. Hindi pa muna tayo magwawakas sa larong to, Ray, dahil pinapatagal natin dito, pinapa-channel mo na lahat ng kanilang malalabas sa larong to. And for sure, Talon has a lot more than just Patty Fun providing a performance in this game. Whew.
Grabe. Alam mo kung kanina, press W. Dito talaga, sinong mag-outsmart sa isa't isa. At yan yung talent talaga ng parehas sa teams who are perfectly good in ascent. At yan yung parehas na vitals na kailangan nila i-show. Pero ngayon din, we're gonna go into the match point. Pero will it be successful for Zeta or Talon talaga? Hindi pa rin sila magpapatinag. They still want to get this into a 2-0.
Oh, they really want this so bad. But of course naman, aside from being passionate about winning, you have to take into account na kinakailangan talaga nyo to even win out the rounds necessary for you to take out the entire series. It all falls down talaga kung anong mangyayari sa huling round posible dito ng Talon Esports ngayon. And they have to put out a great fight. And aside from that, it's not just gonna be the duels, but the utilities and the macros that they have to put out. Quick decision-making kinakailangan natin dito para to fully adjust on the situations that they have forced themselves into. And now, patience is gonna be the play here from Zeta Division. Nag-aantay naman tayo dito on aggressive play from Patty Fun, which is there they're not exactly delivering. They're not gonna let their star player they're not gonna be letting go of the star player that they need to win out these games. Retake could be the play, but we still have to see on what Zeta is trying to plot against their enemies.
Okay, plotting it out. Jit Boys sees out the information. Kinola niya kagad. Wala pa rin sumisira ng camera niya! Kitang-kita na kayo, mga beshiwap! Pero syempre, disiplina pa rin. It might be crucial. Jit Boys, hindi dapat siya magpapitas. Maririnig na nga kagad push out those shorty. Pero nga lang, wala siya natamaan. He still got one. Won't be able to spray right through. Pero nga lang, there's just the answer on Talon against Zeta. And we only have one. That's gonna be Sugar Zero. Pero nga lang, makuha ba niya yung pinaka-importante, the greatest clutch of his life, because you're going up against Garnets and you're also going up against Patipan. Oh, it's still not over! Just because of one single thing. Yung camera, guys, tanggalin nyo naman yan sa loob ng B-site. At siling, medyo nagdadabog na dito dahil online na naman ang Ray Rakers. Pero okay lang kung 2-0 to.
Oh. Wag mo ganyan, Rere. Wag mo namang batiin dito sa side ng Talon, lalo na makikita natin sila to even push themselves up to another overtime sa larong to. Zeta Division, ano pa ba ang kinakailangan yung gagawin para to take down these Giants, which is gonna be Talon Esports in this server? Ang hirap nun. Di na naman ilalabas dito nila sa moment of desperation na naman tayo dito coming up the side of Zeta Division with their defense. But is this the right call for them to put out at least 2 enemies here, rather 2 players inside of Raptors, inside of A site? Could this be a Talon win? Given it si Garnets, nakalaso na nga dito sa dalawa! Naku naman! Oh, ang smooth! Parang skincare lang! Nakapag-flank pa kahit duelist yan! We only have 10! At ngayon, alam na ni Patipan kung nasan siya. Pero syempre, kalma ka muna, Idol Cakes. Baka masyado kayong na-excite in taking down Zeta Division. But then, those single moments, cheat boys talaga kanina eh. Pero syempre, di pa naman to tapos. Pero round secured for Talon as they're gonna go in on a match point against Zeta Division. Grabe, ang ganda ng kanilang pag-switch up ng mga plays na iyon. Kitang-kita mo naman talaga kung paano si Garnets is completely reliable on the play at alam na alam talaga niya kung anong magiging assignment. Kumuha ng isa, but may bonus point pa. Kumuha ng flank at nakapaglason pa nga sa dalawa. Ganda naman tong ginagawa ng Talon Esports. The macros and the micros are definitely gonna be there coming out from both sides, but let's just give it up for their duelist, just providing impact, space, and the rest of the sport being relied on the team.
Sino ba nung nag-understand ng assignment? Sabi nga sa TikTok. Pero ngayon, on the defending na nga ang mga taga-Talon. Will they be able to secure this? Yes or no? Pero nga lang, Zeta, ano nga ba ang next nilang magiging sagot? O nga pala guys, malapit yung Twice concert sa September 30. Excited na ako. Share ko lang guys, para lang, medyo intense eh. Lagay lang tayo ng onting pahapyaw. Pero ito na naman, gagawin din nila yung ginawa ng Zeta against them.
Gagawin talaga nila. Konting soundcheck muna tayo dito, Rere. Kung may mag-i-imic map muna dito sa site. But Zeta Division, walang maririnig, walang kalaban-laban muna tayo dito sa kanilang pag-walk in the park. Papasok. Spike plant muna. Talon Esports, of course, buhay na buhay pa tayo dito, ma'am, sir. Vandals, ang kanilang gagamitin muna at mukhang information is definitely actually what they need to even take out more enemies. This fragment lineup could be huge for them to fully disable health position. But ang ganda ng paranoia, pasok muna Garnet S, tago sa smoke, maglalason. Swing muna sa isa, alam niya nandun ang Keyo. Nako, si Crow, walang kamalay-malay. Tatlong kanyang kalaban at mukhang 3v5 na kaagad. Sa Sugar Zero, magla-line up papunta sa smoke at mukhang hindi nila kinakailangan para makikita ang mga enemies, para makakuha ng mga phantoms at mukhang shorties ang give me there. Hunter Fury mana sa isa at mukhang i-hold up pa nga si Laz down to half HP at magkakonect pa nga. Triple overtime, Rere. Ano na naman ang gusto natin?
What was that? Still Zeta! Lahat ng players natin, Ling, they are online, and what can you expect from both of these teams? All of them, magaling sa ascent, may experience na rin sa international scene, tapos lahat sila nagpa-pop off individually. Tapos nga lang ito, masyado kayong na-excite to swing it out against Laz. But then, what can you say about bottom. He's technically the Sasuke to your Naruto.
Ay, ewan ko, Rere. Lahat sa lahat ng araw, sa only best of one na mangyayari ngayong araw, yun pa talaga ang magkakaroon ng Rere curse.
Oo nga tatandaan nyo. Parang tinatawag na ako ni Direk dito, parang ikaw, Rayray, bakit hindi ka nang magkakas next time sa VPL? Tatandaan mo yan. Sensya na kayo. God bless! Pero nga lang, hindi siya nag-whiff. Baka pitas ng isa, si Patipan pa yung nakuha. Nakuha na nga ng information, pero nga lang si Jit Boys, talagang run lang tayo dito. Bukas ang B-side for us, guys. Let's go in already. Pero nga lang, let's not forget, it's still lads we are talking about. Mala-anime nga! Huwag kayong mag-audition! He gets the 2 kills already! There's the top! Yep! It's gonna be a 2v2 once again between Talon and Zeta. Ang intense
Ang intense talaga nilang banan dito, Rare, dahil konting segundo na lamang natitira dito para sa side ng Talon Esports para makukuha itong site at pampipilitan nila makukuha itong spike plant. But si Sugar Zero, nag-aabang sa Candy, market position, mukhang completely destroy. Foxy, naku naman, kuha natin si Crow, big brain plays na makakuha niya dito, but mukhang wala pa nga siyang utilities na magagamit para sa 1v2 na ito. He's gonna be down to half HP, ganda na angle, holding guard at S, he's compromising his own position, but that was just enough for him. A risk he's willing to take for the side here for Talon, and 14-15 nga naman pala dito, Rere, at konting sayo-sayo muna, kembot muna tayo dito, guys, dahil medyo matagal-tagal talaga tong larong to. Triple overtime, Rere, pang-apat, ewan ko na, I've lost counts.
Grabe, ang intense, parehas magaling sa attacking or kaya sa defending. It's very, the plan is very laid out properly. Pero nga lang, Talon, match point it is. On their defending, kanina nag-choke sila. Pero ngayon, gusto na ba nila bigyan ng closure ngayon din o hindi?
Closure? Hindi ako naniniwala sa closure, Rere. Kung ganun lang naman din ang usapan, makipagbalikan ka na. Pero joke lang, guys. Speaking of balikan, it's only gonna be the comeback na gusto ko makikita dito coming out from the side of Talon. Dahil ang ganda na ng pinakita nila so far. And it's not just those microplays that were happening, but all of the shots being called correctly on their part. It all fell down talaga sa mga ginagawa sa kanila dito ng Zeta Division that they have tried to shut down for them time and time again. And speaking of that, naku naman, anong plano natin dito, sir? Walk muna tayo dito sa tree and rotate muna papuntang city position. Itong ang ating kuya na si Garnet S para makapag-call man lang ng reinforcements papuntang B-site. But kung tutuusin, Zeta Division, may masamang binabalak papuntang A-site dahil alam natin, kahit may cyber dyan, medyo mahirapan tayo to even hold off our enemies right here and now.
Oh no, sa Cloudburst! May kita na! He takes down kagad ngayon si Dep! And now may tulong na kagad si Jet Boys. Pero nga lang, ano ba naman yan? Ba't kayo nag-whiff? Kung kailan importante na kagad yung rounds, it's gonna be 3v3 already between Talon and Zeta Ling.
Talon or Talo, ang magagawa nila! Garnetes! Hindi nagpapapigil dito, Rere! Mag-hold pa nga ng defuse! Alam natin, si Ten nagagaling Kabi, double pick para sa isat! Yun na nga! Matatapos na sa wakas itong labanan na ito! 14-16, Talon Esports taking out the second map! Taking this into a 2-0 fashion, and finally, put on a quick conclusion para sa larong to!
Makakanood pa ako ng mas maraming games, pero alam nyo, kung may redemption arc si Taylor Swift in her redemption era nga, ngayon ang Talon sabi nila, it's time! 2-0 kahit Rayrakers, at least walang map 3, so medyo si Derek hindi siya magagalit ng onte. Pero syempre, all in all, it's just an outstanding performance for Talon. I am so amazed that all of them right now are popping off. It's not just about Patipan or Garnets, it's about Jit Boys, it's about Cruz together with Foxes. But as for Zeta, grabe din ang outstanding nila. Lahat sila. Sobrang impressed. I think this is one of the maps talaga na I love the most.
One of the maps I love the most. Kahit sabihin mo talaga, basic lang talaga dapat ang labanan sa Ascent. But napaka-advanced ng mga utak ng mga players na ito. Anticipating every push, putting out every quick adjustment there is necessary para sa kanilang matchup. But you could definitely see them individually, man, just putting themselves out there, not just for the highlight plays, but sabihin natin they were stepping up when the team need them to be. At kitang-kita mo naman dyan, Jit Boys making huge impact, but Laz as well coming out from the opposition, just putting him not just like as a main duelist in the team, but an initiator who's also capable of putting out those trades, utility as well, and of course the support that Zeta Division needs. But you have to give it up for them. Resilient effort in actually taking this game out to 3 overtimes. But Talon, give props to them on taking out this game and this series 2-0. Ganun lang kadali yun, Ray. At yes,
this is the Talon mental reset. This should be how they want to face the other games para magkaroon sila ng crunch time going into playoffs. Imagine, they defeated yung top 3 teams natin on the leaderboards, and one of them is Zeta Division. Pinangunahan nila, binigyan nila ng momentum si Jit Boys, binigyan nila ng chance si Sushi Boys, si Patty Panden, nag-duelist kanina, yung mga kailangan nila that they missed out on the last few series that they played. They finally tangled it together at tuwang-tuwa na sila ngayon. Finally, a big win for them. Pero syempre, it's still a long journey to be part of the top 8 going into playoffs.
Oh, definitely smiles all around here, especially with the Talon Esports roster. They have finally gotten their first win for the entire Pacific League tournament, but hopefully this is not going to be the only winning moment that there is for their entire run in their Valorant journey. And of course naman, they have a lot of learning streaks. I wouldn't call it a losing streak, but you definitely see kung saan talaga sila natutunan from all of the mistakes that they have been incurring so far. A lot of losses here and there, but you could definitely see them just putting out that one last push in the round, possibly sa larong to. Patifan has finally found his proper position in this current roster, and you could definitely see them not just fully adjusting to him, but see them just playing for each other. At yun talaga ang mahalaga ngayon sa Talon Esports. They have finally found their footing, and you could definitely see them stomping on their enemies in this series.
I just love this series. A clean 2-0, and yet they finally defeated yung isang Goliath. And David and Goliath, story nga naman talaga indeed. But then Talon, this looks promising for them as they still want to take on those rounds. Pero syempre guys, ipapasa na namin kayo kay Reby, Raf, and together with Juicy.
Maraming salamat, Ray and Ling. What a series. Again, Talon Esports has finally got that one win on their standings right now. And, this has been a really good series. Again, a great David Goliath story indeed, because they just took down Zeta Division. Again, the top 3 in our standings currently. So this puts up Talon a little bit higher now. And I agree na, I think they finally reintegrated Patty here. And, we're going to be going...
na si Idol.
Exactly. And we're going to be going to an interview with him in a bit. But going here to our match MVPs, I definitely agree here. This Cypher pick definitely was a great pick on Ascent. And Laz, I think we saw him, especially on the defensive side, that that hold on the Odin really locked down B.
Konti na lang tama na sana yung 13-11 ko kanina, pero
malapit
namali
naman.
pa si Idol. Isang bullet pa. You pass through, sticks it with the defuse, went to overtime, and at least Talon so far isa rin sa powerhouse ng ating very near place. They did it and finally got a win in their belt. So walang balungkot dito si Raf. Extra masaya.
Siyempre. I mean, like I said, guys, I've always believed in Talon, and again, with the tenure they have and with the roster that they've developed over the years and a core that's been around forever, it's bound for them to happen to bounce back again. But you did mention the Cypher pick, as we were talking about before this game, na parang nightmare game talaga si Depp. And it did happen. Again, there's just very little value when he tried to enter the site, and you could see that there were second thoughts. Parang siya mismo yung dalawang isip pa. Like, guys, we're sure we're gonna hit this site. And with, again, the player profile, or rather team profile of Zeta, that they do really respect Talon's aggression, and just in general, they invest a lot of utility to, I guess, stop that forward pressure from the defense. But all of that kind of went out the window when we went into overtime. They're kind of banking on a lot of the star power, which is really, really normal, especially on Ascent. I have to give credit to Laz though. Laz was really insane this series.
I mean, also to add din Sugar Zero. He
yeah,
really showed
absolutely.
up well, especially in the
But
overtime.
Talon wins, you know.
Parang gusto niya talaga manalo pero he fell short.
Talon won. What's up?
Raph is flexing with happiness.
up?
He's so happy. Your muscles are happy. But
Yes.
you know, we saw Talon was also flexing just before this game. So maybe it's the flex buff here. You know, muscle power. Confidence. Yes, exactly. We came into this matchup. All of the boys of Talon Esports were just really happy. I think they came into this very prepared, and we could really see it dito sa game na to. Pero again, this was a very close series. Like in terms of rounds, this was very close. And again, going to 2 overtimes, this definitely means that these two teams were very evenly matched. But again, Talon Esports coming out on top. And of course, I'd say, you know, on top of Jit Boys and that Cypher pick, I really just think all of Talon, just like Ling said, they all just stepped up, they found their footing, and ang galing talaga ng mixture nila dito.
Yeah, and also for Talon Esports, they defied the numbers. 0 success in a sense so far until now. And you know, they fought against Zeta Division, wherein ito yung isa sa most played maps nila na we are I was expecting na they will take away this win. So far, Talon Esports, they defied the numbers, went ahead right away.
Again, just to go back on the history, as the core has been through so many iterations and adversity na syempre, yung mga mid-run adjustment nila, dapat lang na malakas. Kasi, again, they've been there for APAC for literally every single Masters, I believe, Searcha. And now, Talon has been present, this roster, superstar studded. And parang ngayon lang sila na naka-realize na, sobrang galing natin. So, dapat magbabato talaga tayo. Hindi ko din alam eh.
Finally, they woke up. They woke up.
Yeah.
Yun ang sabi natin. And maybe for the next few weeks, parang ito na nga yung starting ng Talon Esports, which is a pretty long way to go. Kasi nasa ilalim pa sila ngayon eh, you know, second next to DFM. Pero maybe a few more wins, baka may chance pa for playoffs.
Exactly. We still have 3 more weeks left into league play before our playoffs. So definitely Talon can still, you know, pull a miracle run here. We've seen it happen before and it can definitely happen again. But again, we'll just have to see how the rest of this goes. Zeta Division, on the other hand, still, you know, maintaining a higher spot on our standings at the moment. But again, they will be going against some of the tougher opponents in our pool of teams. So right now, it's a huge step down for Zeta Division, moving down to the bottom 6. We've finally evened out our rankings here. There's no longer hovering around top 4 right now. So I think this is the first time in a long time that we've seen kind of specific rankings for each of our teams. And yeah, Talon Esports is still in the bottom 9, but again, we still have 3 more weeks to go.
And again, it's a reminder na first to third placers in this tournament ay mapupunta sa Champions and Masters. So itong teams na to, they really have to work their way up.
But I also like Paper X, you know? So, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Don't do this. But I think in a matchup perspective too, ang daming data na na-share yung Zeta Division kanina. Syempre, yun talaga yung pinakamalaking problema basta games go the distance. A lot of teams will always try to see what would be, I guess, the habitual movements of the players. For example, just really the small things, right? How trades might happen, who will adjust to what. And I think I made the call earlier, I believe it was 10, if he didn't start moving by 35 seconds, and if they don't hit this, if they don't get the first pick on the side, then I think it's as good as done.
Exactly. I think it was that really delayed push, the delayed initiative from 10 there that could have, you know, we saw 3 players from Talon Esports rotating over from B to A, and I think kung he just moved a little bit earlier, he could have slowed that down and maybe given some time for his team. Again, those crucial seconds are very important in a game like this, especially in overtimes.
Yep, exactly. And kanina pinag-usapan din natin yung mga recon darts from the Sova. Finally, it goes to show na nagamit na talaga ngayon. You know, off-stream, we were talking about like some angles na parang, whoa, but actually it made sense. Thank you, Raph. And dahil doon, you know, Zeta Division really tried to go with their info game. Pero Talon...
What's up? What about Talon? You know what I'm saying?
He's flexing with excitement.
Yeah.
He's so happy.
But
finally, you don't get to lie down on the floor.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's to me. But again, just those small mistakes that happen. I really feel like on that particular play, if maaga lang talaga si Ten and he could have pulled the attention away from the defenders kasi na-funnel sila lahat para sa A main eh.
Exactly.
And it's really just the basics of Valorant. And again, these are super high stress situation, guys. I know a lot of people make fun of pros for like making the smallest mistakes and if I was there, no, you're not. You know what, chat? I want to remind all of you that you are nowhere near as good as any of these players, so relax. Unless you're also a pro, so you know.
That's true. Or, maybe an analyst or something. But again, it's also, this is really high pressure situations. Again, imagine going to 2 overtimes. You're really desperate for this win. Talon Esports definitely were very hungry for this. Zeta, again, trying to maintain that spot in the top. And it could have just been, a slight miscall there. Just waiting for that exact moment. Just like a few seconds off.
Nakita nga natin kanina in the closing rounds of the game na parang medyo there were a lot of miscoms going in, pero like, it's still at the end Talon Esports na kaya pa rin nilang like for example those diffuses na ginawa nila wherein they really stuck to it, and that really closed out the game for all of us. And I think the biggest part here for Talon is like Patty Fan already able to play Raze in the next game naging Killjoy, but still bringing in the same effect for the team. So parang like we said kanina nga, he is already reintegrated to the mechanics of the team.
And again, just to really go back on that Ascent game, this is pretty much how we, I guess, expected the outcome of Ascent. Again, super messy, but pardon me, excuse me, actually. But in terms of like, see,
excuse me.
You are excused.
Okay. Anyway, guys, now I lost my train of thought. I was trying to say.
Okay, Ascent is very messy. Ascent.
Okay, Ascent is very messy, right? But tingin ko kasi na parang yun nga nawala yung confidence ni Dep to really get into the site. We had so many heat checks from Dep alone on Haven. Again, there's so many impressive op clips too, and he still managed to steal a few rounds away from Talon. But again, just the second thoughts and just having the Cypher on the enemy team, knowing that there could potentially be a trap, they were much more reserved in taking space. Which was really, in my opinion, strange, I guess, on the side of Zeta, especially when they had the better initiation. They had the KO plus Killjoy, and we all know Killjoy super impactful with the lockdown.
Exactly, but going into the KO pick again, because again you said that you didn't really like this. Let's say, because we're going to be interviewing Patty in a minute, but how do you feel na kung ano yung difference between his play on his gameplay on Raze versus now seeing him here on the KO?
Sino ba to? Si
Patty.
All right.
Tanong ko yan mamaya eh. Kalma lang.
Really, you're gonna ask Patty that?
Yeah, like why am I okay? My question for the interview later is basically how he's adjusting to both Jit Boys and Garnet, because again, we're so used to seeing Patty as the leader of the dance, to the one to set the table for, I keep saying X10, because every time I remember Patty, it's X10, but of course, Talon, right? He sets the table and the tempo, and with the system they have, they never really needed that super high impact entry anyway, but again, it's such a great bonus to have. And Jit Boys and Garnets, we talked about the overflow of duelists too. How has Patty really found his place and his confidence, especially coming off an injury?
Isn't that better, like, if you have like 3 duelists in like the game? I mean, like the firepower, no? Pero like, I mean, of course, we have to put into consideration utilities play na parang how are they gonna mesh up everything? How are they not gonna do like triple picks and then end up losing everything? So, maybe, I don't know, a weird thought I just want to throw out there for Talon na parang, why did you go try triple duelist specifically?
What do you call this?
It's like
Team maker. What? Ano yung tawag doon?
Meta maker?
The
like
one
trendsetter?
Not trendsetter. The one who like ikaw yung kinocompose ng comp or something.
Oh, the drafter basically.
No, that's not limit testing. No.
No, wait, so
Theory crafting.
Theory crafting.
Okay.
So the problem with having triple duelists, siguro ang lakas niyo kung panalo kayo sa mga super contact plays kung dire-diretso lang. But at the same time, when the game starts slowing down, how do you default? How do you poke around? It's really these small things that add up. For example, let's say you go for, I guess, the super classic triple duelist comp. You go Reyna, you go Raze, you go Jet. A lot of jumping and a lot of fighting, but if a team that has a more balanced comp can have a better time on the retake, like I said, there's so many sides of Valorant where it's either just super gunplay heavy, but there's also something super utility based, and a lot of teams try to go for the safer route just for reliability. Because again, we talked about it, right? I think this was with T1
last week. Yeah,
this was last week, where no matter how good you are, you're still gonna have an off day, and it's been super apparent with everybody. And it's not just in our scene too; it's also, it's obvious with Ye. Ye has historically been incredibly consistent. Yeah, Yester, who's now on DSG, I believe. He's historically been so consistent. It's crazy. But even he has those dips where he goes sometimes below 13 kills and so on and so forth.
Exactly, and I think that's also one of the fundamentals of Valorant and what makes it so diverse. And you have a lot of room to play with things. Is just utility usage. And again, it kind of you'd rather, instead of taking that gunfight, which could end up in a 50-50, especially here at such high level play. Having that that extra bit of util could just win you that match. But anyway, I think we're just about ready to jump into our interview with Patifan. Hi Patifan, congratulations! You guys did amazing today. You seemed really happy coming onto stage earlier, so I hope you're doing a lot better now, especially after that win. So going into this, I think you guys, it was a very close game, a close series with Zeta. What did you think was the most challenging part of this all throughout the series?
I mean, it probably was the execute. Like, they just throw in tons of util, like it was actually so hard to like defend A side. Like it's like almost impossible. Yeah, respect to them.
All right, okay, thank you.
Okay, there we go, respect. And wow, hi Patty. Here's the question: you played Raze game 1, then you switched to another role in game 2. How is that coming along for you as a player here in this league?
What do you mean by that?
Like for example, you played duelist in game 1, then you played another role in game 2. How's the adjusting phase going into like these games?
I don't know. I think KO is like a duelist, like because like you got flash, you can flash for yourself. You got knife, you can gain like information like by yourself. I think is honestly KO is like a duelist for me. So like it hasn't been much of a transition. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. All right, thanks, Ralph.
Hey champ, what's up? Congrats, by the way. I just want to let you know I was the one who picked Talon to win. These two picked Zeta.
Yeah. I saw that.
That's right. Also,
I saw your pictures.
Let's go, boys. But anyway, there's no bias here. Actually, there's a slight bias for me. But I know that you've been with this team since X10, and it was really nice to see you guys reunite. But how have you been adjusting to, again, the newer additions with Garnet and Jit Boys?
I mean, it was a little rough at first because like I've never played with two youngsters because they've been playing on tier 2, tier 3 like for the rest of their lives, and it's kind of like I have to adjust to them as well, like because like I don't know how they play. Like they're just a rookie. Like they like to take fights, like so. I think I have to communicate more with them,
All right, thank you for the answer. About you, Rebby?
All right, so one last question because you finally have this win under your belt and we still have 3 more weeks of league play. So what more can we expect from Talon in the future?
I don't know. Expect us to win, yeah.
That's
there
right.
we go.
There we go.
All right, Talon fan since forever.
Yeah.
Whoa.
W.
There we go. Yeah, W's only. All right. Well, Patifan, thank you so much. This has been a great interview. Thank you so much for your time. And again, congratulations on this well-deserved win.
Thank you. Am I done?
Well, you heard it there. W's only moving forward. This has been a momentous, moment for Talon here, I think. And you can also see from Patifan, they're also making adjustments within the team. Still some things to figure out here, but it's overall looking like a bright future for Talon here, right?
Except for him, because he just wants to kill. I mean, like I really love that answer with him. Going with KO.
You can feel the confidence.
He just wants to play like how he comfortably plays the game.
Yeah, that's my favorite call. Patty, go kill. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of things that you can call or things that you can do through an app, we also have Grab, who is the official sponsor of VCT Pacific, where you can also try Grab Unlimited, which is a subscription that gives you free delivery every day from every single store. And you can try it 1 month absolutely free, so don't worry about that. And what's this? We also have more Valorant challenges coming in the future, so wag kang mag-alala and stay updated for those challenges. Just scan this QR code to get a free trial of Grab Unlimited, because Grab's got you covered when you need food for VCT Pacific.
Yes, exactly. And while you're watching, remember to share the stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch to support VCT Pacific and your favorite teams. It's VALORANT PH on Twitch and VALORANT Esports PH on Facebook and YouTube.
Special thanks to our sponsors Logitech, Red Bull, Polo by Ralph Lauren, Grab Unlimited, HP Victus, and Zowie for making VCT Pacific League possible. So once again, big thank you to everybody, and big thanks to you, audience, for sticking around.
That's right. Maraming salamat po. This has been a very exciting series. I think, Raph, you are definitely very happy. Bruce,
It's gonna be a nice gym day today.
a new Talon fan, right?
We could say that.
Talon since forever.
That two predictions I made today were wrong, so kind of hurts.
That's all right. I mean, there's still a lot of weeks we still got going forward. And again, that was a really nice interview from Patifan. I'd say this is, I enjoyed interviewing him, and you really like those very, I'd say, animated players, and Patifan is definitely one of them. So, any final thoughts on our series today?
Which reminds me, last week I said, Talon, more to come.
Ah,
and
more
then
did
they
come.
delivered. More did
Tama.
come today. So more next week.
Yep.
That's simple.
Throughout
Nothing else needs to be just yup. They won. They got that W, and we'll see more Ws moving forward. So I think that's it from us here today. Again, moving forward, we will see more Ws from all of these teams here at VCT Pacific. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Rebecca, your panel host for today. Thank you, Juicy, Brucey, and Raph for being with me on the panel. And we will be seeing you next week for more VCT Pacific Valorant action.